Hey everybody, happy Monday. Today marks what, 2 stream days left. Adam is preparing for v0.2 of Skeleseller. His friend just tried the game over the weekend for the first time, so there's a fresh round of feedback to address, in addition to some last minute tasks that he already wanted to do. Yeah, this is going to be what we do for this week. And then next week, I think we're going to switch into music production and just kind of not doing as much development for a little bit of time. There's 2.5 weeks between launch and my next vacation. And in that time, I want to spend at least 1 week on music. In fact, let me write it this way. Yeah. We might do a little more than that. And part of the reason for this is I don't think you can launch a game and not have sounds and music. And it needs to happen at some point. And if I'm the one making the music, then I've got to probably have more time to do it because it's a creative endeavor. And yeah, I'm just not very good at it. So anyway, hey Renzu, hey Darkstorm. Let's start the way we normally do, which is doing tenets. This doesn't take too terribly long. Tenant review. What if these should just be in their own document? Post stream to-dos temporarily on hold while I get ready for launch. Planning to spend Tuesday and Thursday of next week just catching up and not doing coding unless it's an emergency. I'm writing that in quotes because there's no coding emergency for a video game, but I will know what I mean by that. Sustainability, this is going fine. I put in extra time getting ready for my friend trying the game, but it was mostly enjoyable and didn't seem to burn me out. Yeah, bricklaying, this is going well. I know that we're not going to be doing very exciting things this week, but it's all necessary to launch, for launch. And then successes. Showed my friend the game and he liked it. Progress is much more visible at this point since we're getting ready for another checkpoint. What else did we do? Oh yeah, the interview with Sharon was great. Interview was here. It says, yeah, actually got the quests, player-wide skill tree, and instance and party chooser done. Yeah. Yeah. Last week was really good. And I'm hoping this week is really good too, of course. I never hope for a bad week. Although some weeks I think are more, it's easier to absorb a bad week than it is on other weeks. And this is one of those weeks where we can't absorb a bad week. We need to have this go pretty well. So I've written this here. Make the game as good as we can. Next week is catch-up week. I'll try my hardest not to work on Skeleseller on Tuesday and Thursday. During stream days, we'll probably start doing music stuff. Music should last for at least a week. I'm just not very good / fast at composing. Yeah. All right, I wrote down all the feedback here. All of them have a little emoji in them because when I was writing a bunch of notes, this is how I wrote them down. So the ones I copied here were the ones with that emoji. So it's like, why would you write that on every single line? I didn't, or I wouldn't have. All right. Auto battle. I want to write down all the important things that need to happen. Pre-launch. Auto battling. Showing loot at the end of a battle. What else was super important? a lot of, I guess, like new player confusion clarification tasks. Lots of tooltips and stuff. Maybe a little bit of balance. And then setting up the itch page again. Set up itch page again. Yeah, hey Phil. Happy Monday to you, Phil. I gotta say, Phil's chat history is probably hilarious. Yeah. The chat history is mostly, hey guys, almost exactly at the same time every day. Not quite. I appreciate it though. Very consistent. Okay, I think the first thing we want to do is the showing loot at the end of battle. What is the state of things right now? Oh, there is some stuff here. Advanced options, script, export. Oh my god, there's one other thing, which is figure out why I couldn't export for Mac. Might be a problem. Lurk, oh yeah, it's totally fine. I'm not trying to, yeah, I'm not trying to imply anything really. Just I thought it was funny. Hey, Sinistella. Yeah, this is a problem. It made an export for, where did it even put these things? Hang on a second. It made a problem, or it made an export for non-ARM versions, I think. Yeah, so in here, if I right click, go to show package contents, inside contents, all I see is this Mac OS x64 or x86 64. And actually, now that I think about it, this should still launch because of Rosetta or whatever it's called, right? Unable to find .NET assemblies. Yeah, it says data game macOS ARM64 doesn't exist. Is there a way to copy text from here? Oh, there is. You can just highlight. Well, you can't really highlight it. You can only highlight that one. Well, that's why we can do this. There is an OCR thing that we can do, which I think is... How do you... Oh, yeah, that is it. So we just highlight this. Now it's on the clipboard. Nice. All right, well, let's just search for that. I guess it doesn't really matter. Godot, net assemblies. Yeah, Vistronics, faculty, and a monkey. Self-respect, and they know I'm too funny and just be paid. Hey, Trackley. Everything in order. How can you have your folder icons overlap? I don't really know how to fix that easily. Yeah, I know you can go to sort by, but how do I fix it everywhere? Like, I don't ever want to be able to position them. I've just never looked into that. I guess I should probably just write it down as a thing to do. Figure out how to make my Finder icons not overlap by default. Yeah, I don't have to keep doing it in every single folder. Okay, so what's going on here? Do I need something else? I wonder, does it talk about this here? You don't think you can? Man, that seems like a weird thing. All right, well, let's look over here. Maybe we'll find it. If I just search for this, does anything show up? Because this is probably the same error message everybody's getting, right? Maybe it doesn't have game in it necessarily. What? Am I doing something wrong? Export Mac. Is there a way to choose the architecture? I don't see anything here. And I don't think I changed anything. Yeah, I mean, there's advanced options. Maybe I need to turn that on. Did that enable anything that's obvious? No. I don't know. Oh, also, it seemed like it just turned itself off. Oh, it can't stay on for some reason? You can see it turns on and, oh, wait. There we go. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. Anything here? Financial info. No, I don't think we need this. Man, all right, yeah. Set default order. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe you can just override it for the downloads folder. All right, well, I don't know. I don't know how to fix this right now. And either way, this isn't what I really set out to do. But we do need to fix that for sure. What is all of this? Oh, is this because I just went into advanced mode? Because if so, I would really like to undo this. Oh, thanks, Limeoats. I'll write that down. Finder. The pirate version of Finder. There. What do I do about this? Were these... whatever. We'll just leave them. Who cares? They're probably not necessary. This is multi-arch equals true. I have advanced options set to false. Why did it change all these things? Maybe advanced options. Is it set to true somewhere else? False, false, false. No, it's just false. Hey, Grace. It's going well. I'm excited for this week. I think it's going to be a really, really fun week. I think the development tasks will be kind of so-so. But we've got some exciting stuff this morning at least. Well, new features we got to add. The loot window and auto battle. Okay, what happened here? Size of the instances view. Like, why did this change? They're all set to 2, too. I'm going to just keep it that way. Although I'm not sure why this is the case. Hey, 85 filter. So I'll just say setup exports. Export presets. I don't know why so many options changed here. It's possibly because I toggled advanced options in the editor, but then didn't change anything. The important change here is there was something I couldn't export. Oh yeah, I remember. It's one of these things. This, I think. S3TC BPTC. I think it was this. I think the important change here is this, which was needed to be able to export on Mac OS. All right, let's check just that in. Commit that. I don't know what changed here. And whatever, I'm just going to keep it as is. I mean, if the game looks good, then the game looks good. So let's go try that out. Is there another window open? Is this the... Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, it's that. Yeah, well. Ignore. Go back into this. Yeah, I think this is looking good. I guess let's start some battles and see. Yeah, everything looks fine. Okay. Okay, so change instance size. This shouldn't matter. In fact, I'm not even sure why this is showing up as a change. The instances should be sized by their parents. Okay, but then this change is something I think I want to keep. Hey, Goose. So here's what happened. I showed my friend the game on the weekend, and he played for about an hour, and he gave some good feedback. And then I also just recorded some feedback as I was watching. And the very first thing that happened, though, was he tried launching the game, and it just crashed immediately. And the reason why was because of this change. We have a bunch of component IDs here, and some of them... Oh, wait a sec. No, it wasn't this. There's something else. There's some test component somewhere. What do we call it? Darn it. / component? Helper component, yeah. So this exists, but not in release builds, I think. Yeah, I don't think it exists in release builds, but we try to see if it exists in release builds. And when it doesn't, we fail it. Yeah. So I just need to change my runtime validator to not work unless we're in debug mode. Yeah. So if this doesn't have this, just return and then put this up here. On release builds, we won't have test specific classes, which will fail at least one validator. I don't know if this is a problem. I feel like if there's some runtime issue, we could just launch the builds and figure it out. Or sorry, runtime production issue. We could just launch the builds. Wrong game. I just sent the wrong game. My friend's playing something totally different. I'm like, this doesn't look like Skeleseller. Stop running validators on production builds. This caused, well, they caused the tests, or they caused the build, caused the game to crash because there aren't the test components, like helper component. At least I'm pretty sure those aren't there. I think we have some debug thing that checks. Yeah, if debug test environment. So then when you don't have debug defined, I don't think it even has references to this anymore. And if it doesn't have the test environment, that means it doesn't have those helper components. So yeah, anyway, I think this is good. I don't think these are super important changes, but I need to clean up what we're doing. This is an important change, showing loot at the end of battle. What we want to do is we want to have a scroll window or something with what loot you got, and then ideally what doesn't fit as well. So what do I call this? End battle screen. There. Yeah. Hey, Jack. So we're going to put this at the bottom here, and it's going to be it's going to be anything that can lay itself out. Let's open up party section for a second. If we shrink this, does this lay itself out like a, oh, you can't shrink this? Can I just hide this? No, now you can't shrink this. Yeah, so what I want is for this to lay out it like a flow, like a flex box. And there's a way to do this. I don't remember how. Or maybe it's not even this container. Flow container. That's what I want. I want a flow container. Yeah. Okay, so then let's close out of this. Don't save. And I'll add in a flow container. Now, what direction do we want? Wraps at the borders horizontally. Yeah, this one. All right, now we want to add in a bunch of things just to see if this is working. So let's just add a sprite and just put a little fireball graphic in there for now. And then add in a bunch of these. Oh, it can't be sprites. It's got to be like a texture rect. And then I think we need to say, actually, can we just drag this on there now? Yeah, we can. Okay, so now what happens if I duplicate this a bunch of times? Let's duplicate them all. I think it's going the entire screen. Oh, man. This gets resized. Well, whatever. Let's just copy in another million of these. Just want to see. Yeah, okay. It's laying it out correctly. So that's what I want. Now we delete the whatever 9,715 fireballs I made. So this is going to be loot container or like loot. Let's just loot. Yeah. And we got to add in a bunch of texture rects here. Yeah. All right. Let's just try adding in, I don't know, some fake data for right now. End battle screen. I don't think this is going to be too hard. At least not the adding the loop part. I think then we need to, oh, we probably need to put tooltips on here. Put tooltips on the loot earned so that when they're red, it tells you why and maybe how to upgrade your storeroom. That brings up an interesting question, which is, should we show the values of items in this dialog? Let's not worry about that for right now. But that is a thought. Maybe we want to do that. Do we want to show the values of items in that new UI. I think people might want to see it. Yeah, I'm leaning yes. Leaning toward yes. Okay, so we got to go get loot. Loot is underneath the v0.2 container. v0.2 container is not here. Oh, there it is. I didn't see it. It's on a new line. I think I have this zoomed in slightly farther than I normally do. Not that it's really a problem. So private, it's a flow container, but I think all we need is to know that it's a control. And we're going to say loot container equals null. This does make me think I should just call this loot container. Fine. I mean, it is a flow container, so it's not like it's a big deal. Then this one goes to the bottom. It's called loot container, loot container. It's a control. All right, next, when we initialize this, let's just throw in some random stuff. So add child, texture, rect. And now we'll do for into I equals 0. I is less than, I don't know, 15. It doesn't really matter. We're not populating this with real data just yet. Okay, now we need to make a texture rect. How's developing in C# been with Godot? It's been good. I really, really want hot reloading. I feel like it's biting me quite a lot now to not have it. And this is one of the things I want to look into. Yeah, try out hot reloading. May not work on macOS. Yeah. This could greatly speed up development time. Not going to switch to Windows for that, though. But other than that, I think everything's been fine. One other issue. Oh, yeah, the other issue is just that you can't export to a web build through C# right now, but that's going to get fixed eventually. But that would be kind of nice, because then when people are testing the game, they just wouldn't have to download something. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, if you're making a web game, I guess you can avoid the platform fee for iOS or Mac OS, because you wouldn't need to sign anything. Then again, it also wouldn't be a desktop game, so there is a whole host of things that I think it changes some expectations. I think it changes kind of how you play. People might not even full screen the game. Maybe some performance impact. All right, how do we do this? I want to set an atlas somewhere. Yeah, here. Okay. So where do I make one of these here? Cool. We're going to copy paste this over to here. Hey, Kesha. A browser view that opens a web version. Get the worst of both worlds. I like it. All right, so an atlas texture. This needs to be the item path. Do we have the item thing here? Scene resources. Item. No, I don't think so. Okay, well, item. What's it called? Items.png. Yeah. Yeah, this thing. This is what I want. All right, I want this over here. Then we need a region. We'll just say 16, 16, 16, 16. And now add in the, well, we still need a texture rect. Texture rect. Rect min size. Is this even a thing? Do I even need to set this? Probably. Let's just not set it and see what happens. Okay, so now we just need to try this out. We're trying to put 15 items into a tiny window. We're going to need a scroll container for this. So start battle and then win. Yeah, the minimum size thing didn't work. Well, it wasn't there. It's not that it didn't work, I guess. And actually showing them really tiny is kind of interesting, but that would do bad things for our artwork. I didn't run this through Godot, so I can't change it through Godot. So we just need to figure out how to set the minimum size through here. Min, nope, can't. Size, nope. Okay, I'm out of ideas. Let's go look it up. Custom minimum size? Yeah, it's called custom minimum size. Why did that not show up when I typed size, though? No, it's on the texture rect. Oh, custom minimum size, 16 by 16. And this can be made game constants dot. It's technically the item size. Probably should have. Yeah, this is gonna break some stuff. In fact, I think I'll just write a note to myself. Don't use this for items. put this in unrelated cleanup. Stop using game constants dot tile size in pixels for items. There should be an item size in pixels constant. All right. Use trailing comma and multi-line initializers. Sure. So that should fix that. And then let's put in like 50 of these. I want to make it go off the screen so that I can test having a scroll container there. So start and then win. That's not a minimum size of 16. What's going on? What is going on? Custom minimum size 16 by 16. And they are 16 by 16. Let's add in a texture rect that looks like the items, I guess. Where are the items? Because, oops, maybe, yeah, there we go. All right, now region 16, 16, 16, 16. That's not, is that 16 by 16? Why is that so tiny? Oh, I guess it is. Huh. Huh. So if I set it to 32 by 32, yeah, I think that's more what I was expecting. How big are these? Party section, party member, texture rect. Oh, I doubled it. Oh, okay. Well, then I meant to double this too. Whoops. Yeah, that's why I was confused. I think we're good here. We also probably need to set the filter to nearest. Yeah. Texture doesn't contain a thing for filter enum. It's not called that. It's called something else. Texture filter enum, that's what. All right, that's what I want to test. I should almost certainly make a shortcut for winning a battle, so I don't need to keep opening the debug menu and clicking it. I mean, it's not like it's that hard, right? I click 1, 2, 3. I press 3 things. Yeah, so now they're going off the edge of the screen. And actually, you can kind of see here, there's a tiny bit of that overflow. So it's resizing this window and probably splitting the difference up and down. So now what we want to do is we want to throw that into a scroll container. I've never used one, but I hope it's as easy as just throwing it into a scroll container, seeing what happens. What does this say? Tentative work with a single child control. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Not checking any notifications this week, right? I don't mind checking notifications. I just haven't yet. Things, I really hope I don't sound like a broken record, and I hope this doesn't sound like an excuse. Things have been very busy, and I don't think things will go back to normal until about September. So until then, it's like I'm just scrambling around doing a bunch of different things. But if you want, yeah, I can check something. I can check something out. On the scroll rect, there's a clip contents pool you may want to check to add the overflow. On the scroll rect, oh, there may be. I think this would automatically hide it, right? Scroll. Let's just try this out. So we got to add things to the scroll container now, not the loop container. Let's go get that. I don't even see where. Oh, it's up here. Okay, so loop container is not really this. It's like the scroll container inside the loop container. I'll just temporarily get this for now. Loot scroll container equals loot container get scroll container. And this just has to be a control as well. All right, now we add that down here. And we try that out. Let's see what happens. I don't want it to always show the scroll bar. That's another thing. There's some checkpoint 3 stuff, so it's fine. Okay, yeah, I'll write myself a note to look through PRs. Look through PRs. Cool. Yeah, and thank you, Dark. All right, start battle, win battle. It's all gone. Or maybe it's right there. I don't know. Oh no, it's gone. Scroll container doesn't exist. What did I call it? It's called scroll container. What did I mess up? Loot container.get node scroll container. It's line 75 that's breaking though. Yeah, it just means that this wasn't set. What? This is loot container, yeah. And underneath is scroll container. Oh, I didn't save the scene, I bet. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Yeah. Because every time I go to run, you have to pay attention to whether you're running from VS Code or from Godot. Because it only saves when you do it from Godot. Yeah, okay, so now here we have a really messed up scroll container. So this is easier to fix because we just need to set the size of this correctly. Maybe we do it the other way around. No, that wouldn't work. No, wait, could we? I don't know. I don't know if it would be loot and then scroll or scroll and then loot. So let's try, how would we do this? Let's try this. And then duplicate a bunch of these. I don't think that's correct. Yeah, I don't think that's correct. This is filling, actually we need to fill the size of both of these. Yeah, I think we need to do it the other way around. So we put this here and then this underneath it. Oh wait, no, it said though, scroll container needs exactly one child, right? Use a container as a child or control. Yeah, okay, so it was supposed to be that way, like this. And then this needs to be, oh, this is the flow container already. Yeah. So this just needs to expand to fill the size that we have. Yeah, well, that's it. Okay. All right, well, now we got to reverse these things. Loot container, I guess, is going to be scroll container / loot container. And then delete this and then get rid of this. Yeah. Let's see what that looks like. Like I said, I don't want there to be a scroll bar when you don't need to have a scroll bar. So this is, I guess this is working. I mean, there's no padding or anything. So now what happens when we don't add 50 of these? What happens when we only add like 10? Does the scroll bar show up? There's probably an option for turning it off. If there isn't, it's probably not worth worrying about. Yeah, no, good. It's already off. Cool. Then it's just working. All right, I guess the problem is this wouldn't just, well, there's no problem. I was going to say, we now need to populate it with the real data. So let's go do that. So now instead of this fake loot, we got to know what actual loot you got. I don't think there's a way to do that. Yeah, I don't think we have a way of doing that. Because I think the way that we grant items right now is we just pass in an instance ID somewhere. Where do we even do that? Grant items, storeroom. Does this, no, this is passed in. So we need to find out where this starts. Add items. Grant plus equal add here. Oh, yeah, this is it. Yeah. So this takes in an instance ID and then generates the items here. We need the instance to generate its own item so that we can always fetch them afterward. At least I think. Does that make sense? Let's see. No, we need your player abilities for that, which we might have, but we need your updated player abilities for that. Oh. What if... Okay, I gotta figure out the best way to do this. Where does this get called from, though? This gets called from instances manager. And that's when you win. Call grant items. Yeah, so we need to save this around somewhere. We could have a bunch of different things happen here. So problem, we need the end battle screen to know which items were generated. Actually, why is this a problem? We could just call grant at the very, oh wait, no, we need your player abilities. Yeah, we can only generate them at the end of battle because they rely on your up-to-date player abilities. Those player abilities only come from town. So there are two general solutions here. Option number one is keep a reference with, you know, the key term here being reference to the player abilities so that there's no need to update it. Hey, Maniac. I don't think I ever got capitalized commands working, which I probably should just fix that. But yeah, there you go. Oh, this water tastes weird. It's strange. I just replaced the filter. A second. Okay. I don't like that. It smells a little like garlic. I don't know if... Is it the bottle? That's got to be the water. Can I just plug a stupid game I made some time ago? Yeah, sure, Maniac. All right, option number two is just involve the town in this process. And I think I'm leaning toward this. Garlic water is my favorite. Oh, yeah. All right, Maniac, you got to stop segmenting. Sorry, but yeah. All right, involve the town in this process. I think this is what we should do. Only because I don't like the idea of keeping a reference to something and then eventually that reference changes down the line and you're like, oh man, we need to update where these references are set. Then again, I guess this would make things a lot easier. So grant items would really just be like call back into the instance to say to grant the item. I guess the way we could do this, let me see, we have instances manager. We could say, we could have a function here that's something along the lines of like public void grant items for instance, and it takes in your player abilities, and then the instance ID or something like that. Yeah. I'm just not happy with this. Updating the reference. Just thinking about this. Need your player abilities. Need to make sure the reference never change. Yeah. I wonder. All right, how about this? Let's at least... I'm debating on whether I should even code it with the option I was originally leaning toward to just see what it would look like. The more I think about this, though, the more I think this is a bad idea. Yeah. This is a private variable, right? Yeah. So an instance calls out to... This is stupid. All right, well, then let me write this down and clean up. I finally decided on today to pass around a reference to player. Whoa, I didn't realize there's a hotkey for that. Or maybe I did. Command-Shift-A? No, it's not that. Something like that, though. All right, finally decided to pass around a reference to abilities component player abilities. Yeah. Control-Alt-A maybe, yeah. If it ever needs to be updated, we can just update it. But this... Does this make sense? Oh, man. Like, wouldn't everything just have a reference to this? If I'm going to do that, shouldn't I just pass around a reference to town and store that everywhere? I don't know. I don't want to do things this way. Yeah, this just feels wrong to me. Okay, so then let's track this from the beginning here. Instances manager calls grant items. And we know that this is because the battle had ended. So if we want to generate the items and we need player abilities for it, then something needs a function like this, grant items for instance, and then we'd store that in the instance itself. So whatever we have going on here, but then it would call back out to the town to tell it that you just got items. It just seems so circuitous. Yeah, the generating drops just takes in an instance ID. That's it. And your player abilities. So I guess instead of having the instance generate these, it'd be having the instance store these. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. This would be the instance knows it's done, which it finds out through battle ended. I just want to write this stuff down. Yeah, we have on battle ended. On battle ended comes from... Wait, what? Instance has on battle ended, yeah, cool. Which it gets from the battle system. Yeah, what calls you? Yep. Hey, Sally. You like C#? I found .NET and C# to have improved a lot in the last years. Yeah, I like it. I think my issue with... So here, the options were really GDScript versus C#. And for other applications, like let's say you're just making whatever, a Windows application, like you have C# versus practically any other language. But if you're using Godot, you don't have too many languages to choose from. So when comparing these two, yeah, I like C# better. And I think my gripes with GDScript aren't huge, but yeah, C# just seems cleaner for almost everything. Not everything. There are some things where it's just GDScript it feels like it's higher prioritized than C#. So we go to instance on battle ended. This comes from battle system on battle ended. Yeah. On battle ended calls into the instance, which calls into this, which calls into town add items. And that's currently all we need to do. So we need the end battle screen to get this, which is in instance. I also, well, we do say this around. What? Where do we initialize this? I see. And where is this called from? So is there a way to get the items from here? Instances manager dot show end of battle screen. Hibernate in Java? I don't think I know about that feature. Relational persistence and query service. This is just an ORM. Yeah. You could just use a different ORM, right? Yeah, I've never used it, so hard for me to say. Hey, Cloud Tech Ninja. Not really. When I tried searching, there weren't many options. Yeah, I don't know I don't know how many there are or what's popular out there. And who knows, maybe there aren't any huge ones besides Hibernate. Stopped using ORMs. None having an ORM takes control away. Oh yeah, a lot of people are just like, I don't use ORMs. And yeah, other people like to say Hibernate. Anyway, yeah, I haven't used ORMs either. We're working with Hibernate right now. Yeah, it just happened to come up. I'm not actually doing anything with it. What language I enjoy coding the most in? I usually say it's just whatever language I'm using at the time because it's what's most familiar, which means there are fewer paper cuts as I use it. I don't really care too much about what language I use as long as there's static typing and what else? A good debugger, I guess. Those are the things I really care about. So yeah, no more JavaScript. No more dynamic typing. All right, we were almost done looking through this. So we have show end of battle screen. This makes the end screen, initializes it with all this stuff. This needs to know which items you got. But, oh man. Okay, I have another idea here. Option 3, which is way easier than any of this stuff, which is we have a reference to your player abilities somewhere. Yeah, when we create the instance, we could just keep those around. In fact, do we already save this? No, we just initialize it. Then we don't need it anymore. What was my gripe with doing things this way? Oh yeah, that everything would then need a reference to the player abilities. Oh, so hard. How do you use a custom resource in Godot C#? I always forget Godot parlance for resources. There's just anything that's not a scene. Data containers. Yeah, like textures and stuff. You just use the resource loader and load them, just like you would with anything else. So something like this. That's it. I don't know if you're asking about more than that, Sean. Yeah. It just feels wrong to have everything have a reference to player abilities. Why not just give everything a reference to the town itself and then fetch things through that? I mean, it's arguably, okay, this is dependency injection and it's better than having a global. But if you're injecting a bundle of everything into every class, yeah, that would be injecting too much. So just injecting player abilities isn't so bad. And I guess we have to figure out where we draw the line. So I don't know, maybe we draw the line there. It would lead to more obtuse code if we didn't do that. But then it also decouples this from this dependency. This is why I'm so torn, but I think we're just going to spend a lot of time debating whether this is a good idea or not. And I think I should just pass this in. Yeah. I asked my friend to test save and load. I did, but only just at the very end of the session. I just said, hey, can you click save and then load? And it worked. Or at least it worked to the level that I've coded. Battles aren't saved. What else isn't saved? The instance slots aren't saved. Your party configuration isn't saved. And I'm not sure if there's anything else. Did you see any other problem with it? Oh, wait. Oh, is it because of the issue that I have for like test this with exported builds? Because I know there was an issue. Test saving and loading. Yeah, here. Yeah, I'll just say test on Mac OS, test on Windows, test on Linux. So this one is done. And I'll probably just ask someone from chat to test it on Linux because I'm assuming if it worked on Windows, it's going to work on Linux. The Mac OS part, we have a bigger problem, which is I can't even export the game on Mac right now. And I don't know why, and I don't know if there's an easy fix. I might need to like downgrade Godot and then, oh, that's going to be a pain. Having a nice singleton makes it real clean. It makes a lot of sense for a game. Yeah. I think if you're not going to sort of properly test things, then it almost doesn't matter if you have a singleton. But I have seen a bunch of cases where something was assumed to be a singleton and then wasn't, and then changing it everywhere was a gigantic pain. And just propagating things correctly. Oh God, I gotta change this water. I don't know why it tastes so bad. Like I said, I just replaced the filters. Yeah, next break. If I haven't changed the water, somebody remind me. Okay, so then we're initializing this with the player abilities. Yeah, what if we just store them around? And then what happens? I guess instance when it goes to generate, actually not even that, instances manager. When it calls battle ended, we would just, instead of calling grant items, actually I guess it would be grant items, we would invoke it with a list of items instead. Yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I know this feels like I was really belaboring this. I probably was a little bit. Battle ended. Here it is. On battle ended. We're going to say generate loot. Private void generate loot. So it's this stuff. I mean, if we're going to have generate drops, why even do things this way? Why not just take in the loot doubling chance through the player abilities and then have this thing figure it out? Then this needs to know it. I don't think it matters. Yeah, I don't think it matters. All right, so we need to save that. We don't have that yet. And then this is going to return, it's not going to return anything actually. It's just going to store this. Item IDs to grant. This is going to be a mess. It's going to take at least 10 minutes. Equals null. This actually won't get set until the battle's over. So maybe we just do set it to null. All right, generate. This is the ID of the instance. Player abilities we don't have saved yet. This doesn't matter. And then we want this to be a one of these, a property. Private set good. Rename it to item IDs to grant. Why is that? Seem more restrictive than, oh, I never said this to public. Okay. All right, so there, generate loot, done. We need to now save player abilities, which we get. So let's just save it off. Wait, do we not get that? There it is, yeah, player abilities. Okay, let's go save that off. Private abilities component, does it know what I want? Yeah, it did. Then it deleted it. All right, save that off. Maybe worth adding 202 in this checkpoint? No, I don't think so. I think this is kind of cool, but I think if we're going to do anything with customers, we would address their AI and make them not be constantly in motion. We can't even do that, can we? Because we don't have idle animations. Maybe they just walk in place. They're all very exercise conscious customers. All right, so we got generate loot now. Now when we go into the instances manager and we call grant items, we're going to invoke it with, so this can be deleted. We're going to invoke it with the instances item IDs. Is there a problem with this? I don't think so. All right, now let's go change the town side of things. What is the type of item ID? I read only list. Oh, it's technically nullable here. I don't want that to be propagated. There we go. All right, so grant items is going to take in this item IDs. That's just item IDs is fine. All right, so we don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. And that's that. Oh, there's another problem here. Darn it. We need to know which items you lost because you didn't have. Ah, this is rough. This is really rough. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. This should, well, I'll do that next, I guess. We'll just do this post break. Show the items that you couldn't get because the storeroom was full. Probably have grant items pass in the instance. And then just set which ones couldn't be received. Except for their item IDs. You can't even do that. You need to have like a unique, well, I guess you don't really need a unique ID. Yeah. Just show a bunch of red ones at the end of items you couldn't get. Okay. Whatever. We'll figure this out. All right. Have we done this? Is it finished? No, the end battle screen doesn't know about this yet. But there's no reason why it can't now. Yeah. So the end battle screen can get it now from loot container. Or from the instance. So where do we have that instance? There it is. Instance.item IDs to grant. Okay, that is an item ID. So make a new texture, set the region correctly. That should be in all item data somewhere. Yep, Atlas chords. So let's get it from there. Item data equals item data dot get item ID with a lowercase I dot atlas chords. Cool. Fetch this. Now the region. These 16s should be game constants dot tile size for now, and then this should be the atlas coordinates. Is that a valid? Oh, nice. It is. Dereference a possibly null value. We're just going to make that not null for now. You working on showing items after battle? Yeah. And I think we should be done. Yeah, let's try it out. Well, 3 errors. No overload for add items takes in that thing. Oh, this is not a thing we can do anymore. All right, just delete this for now. Yeah. And now what? I'm guessing I don't have the right type for here because I just never changed it. I am pretty sure that's correct. Yep, here it is. So it's I read only list of item ID. And probably eventually is going to have the instance being passed in there. Let's try that out. Okay, so now we need to grant most things, then save the game like that. So I don't need to keep doing that. And then start a battle in the final location, which will give us the most loot. And then hit win. Wow, check that out. Did it? Well, it might have worked. No, there's a bunch of fake items in there. Did I? Oh, they're in the component. That just crashed. Well, this is lovely. But yeah, it looks like it worked. Just gotta wait for this thing to reload. Is it gonna reload? I don't think it's going to. No, that's too bad. Let's restart it manually. So I just want to delete these things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like it's working. I want to try it another couple times though. So we're going to load and then we're going to start a battle, go back to there. Actually, let's upgrade the storeroom a bit. There. Start battle, win. Okay, are those all the items we got? I'm just going to take a screenshot. I mean, it should be. I can't imagine these are wrong. So 3 of the helms, 2 of the swords, 3 of the canes, 3 of the breastplates, 4 of the red potions, and 4 of the blue. Yeah, that's correct. All right, so that's that one. Now we're going to start another battle in, let's say, Forest 2. And then win that one. You need 3 cloaks, a bow, 2 boots, and a green potion. Yeah, cool. Now let's start another one in, I don't know, Dungeon 2. Win that one. And it shows a helm, 2 canes, and a bow. Yeah. Yeah, there should probably be a label here saying something like, here's the loot you earned. But I think the more important thing is showing you which ones you couldn't get because you didn't have enough storeroom space. Because right now, this is the kind of thing that's only visible if I just click grant items. Oh, it's not going to work anymore. Oh, darn it. Anyway, if I had clicked grant items a bunch of times and I filled up the storeroom, it would eventually show red labels here that say you didn't have enough space. It's okay if that's one way of seeing it, but that can't be the only way of seeing it. We're going to need even more information in here. Like, we're already kind of maxing out the space. All right, let's get grant items to work. The debug thing. This is called add items. Add items needs to be called through there. This is why passing in player abilities probably makes more sense. Get valid values, add items, valid instance. Okay, yeah. Let's change this then. Let's just have this thing pass in player abilities. Yeah. Then over here, we're going to copy all of this out. Put this at the beginning. Player doubling abilities, take in player abilities. Ability ID, this is good. All right, now doubling percent chance doesn't need to be passed in. So this is just abilities component. Player abilities. Good, good, and good. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. How can I start to do hard projects? All my projects are like less than 100 lines. I mean, that is how you start. You do projects that are less than 100 lines and you slowly expand from there. So you generally know a project of 100 lines leads to like some tangible thing. You like think of the scope that it gives you. So maybe it's got 1 to 2 features in it or something like that, right? So if you think about it in terms of the output and not the input, think about what would maybe 50% more of the output look like. So in this case, you know, like 2 to 3 features. And then set that as your goal, and it will naturally be more than 100 lines. I guess if you were talking about games, the way I would kind of think about this is like you'd make Pong and then you'd make like what's 50% harder than Pong, and maybe you're like, I don't know, Snake, and what's 50% harder than Snake? I don't know, maybe Tetris, and you know, keep working your way up until you get to a game you actually want to make. And it's the same thing with really any programming or any experiential thing. You build experience, and an easy way to build experience to keep yourself motivated is set goals for yourself. So yeah. Just come up with a project that's slightly bigger than the ones you've been doing. And I think the keyword there is slightly, because I think some people are like, cool, I've done some basic stuff. Now I'm going to make the most advanced thing in the world. And that generally doesn't work. All right, so now from the instance, this is good. And we want to just do this exact same thing over here. Add items, generate. Oh, we're just going to sample one of these. And then put this here. Yeah. There we go. Braces should not share line. I don't know. I don't know why some of this stuff happens. I don't know if it's stale issues or what. Yeah, I hope that helps. I mean, really, when you think about like how else would you do this, it's at some point you've got to get to, okay, I'm just working on a bigger project. And how you get there is knowing that you can handle all the different steps along the way. All right, so now this button should work. Let's try clicking it. You need to restart this. And we just click this button. Yeah, so these labels are all just stacked on top of each other. And like I said, it's fine to have one of these maybe, but not to have this many. And it shouldn't be the only way that you see this. So here, for example, it says what item was lost. Well, this was the item that was lost, so this should be highlighted in red. So that's what we're going to have to do post-break, is highlight items in red that you couldn't get. And I have an idea for how we're going to do this. When it comes to cleaning up this commit, clean up the commit, stop assuming that the items are non-null. Maybe actually perform a check. 20 game challenge offers escalating difficulty. What are the games that they have here? Oh, here they are. Pong or Flappy Bird. Then Breakout or... What? Jetpack Joyride is not a simple game, right? Game is fairly complex overall. Oh, basic premise. Okay, yeah, sure. The basic premise is pretty easy. I was gonna say there's a ton to that game, but yeah. Okay, sounds good. Space Invaders, Frogger. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what the equivalent would be in computer vision for this stuff. They rate things on a scale from, yeah, I see. Yeah, I think any RTS is generally pretty hard to make, especially if you make it multiplayer. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the computer vision equivalent would be, but hopefully you've got an idea for what that is. I don't think usually coming up with what projects exist out there are roughly within my skill level. I don't think that's typically all that hard. And I think more people should think about it through that lens. If you're learning, then copying something is a great way of ignoring all of the stuff that doesn't help you learn. So for example, if you just want to learn how to make games and you make Tetris, yeah, you're not going to sell Tetris afterward. Like, it's not your idea. But you didn't have to come up with the game design and making sure that like all the game mechanics are already there. You're just copying it, and in that you'll learn how to code. So I think it's the same for any industry or anything really. You can look out there and say like, what exists that I can learn from, and then try to do that thing. And like I said, I think the key is just to not try to sell it or claim it as your own afterward. Use a lot of Chat GPT. Yeah, I think that's another thing to consider is it helping you make bigger projects? Because at some point it might be a crutch that you are leaning on too much, and when you hit ChatGPT's limitations, you're treating them as your limitations. Is there a note somewhere about animating the items flying over the displays? We could do something similar for lost items where they go straight to some guild bin. We could, yes, there was a note about animating those. These are items that are just deleted though. So what we could do is like dump them on the ground of the storeroom and then fade them out. That could potentially be done. But I think going into a bin somewhere, they'd have to like hover it magically over to a bin. I don't know about that. But I think, yeah, anime items being purchased. I think I'm going to make a new issue for that though. And yeah, I want to say this is similar to 165. Anime items being lost. Items that you don't have room for in your storeroom should probably just fall on the ground and then fade out. Ideally, by the time we're tackling this task, we'll have the post-battle screen show the items in red that you didn't get. So this is just one more indicator without having to show text in the game saying you lost 5 items like we do now. Yeah. All right, so milestone, I don't know, whenever. Yeah, project isn't set apparently. And what, we can't set this in the backlog. This is what I find frustrating about this. So this, when you file an issue this way, it puts it into the no status category. And the problem is that then makes a 5th column in our board. So if I go to prioritize backlog, there's now a no status category. So I need to actually put this in the backlog. And now we have, well, I guess, oops. Yeah, now we have 1 in no status. Refactor request by category. Yeah, this should technically be in the backlog. Fortunately, I haven't looked at this. Just the option after you file an issue. Well, I'll have to take a look at that. Okay, so we're gonna highlight items in red when we get back from the break. And maybe show the values of items. I think the problem with showing values of items is that it's gonna very quickly get to be 4 characters. Like this is 4 characters. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to get to 5 or 6. And how do you show that in 32 pixels? You just can't. So it's like maybe on hover you would show the value of these things. Yeah, I think it's probably fine. Yeah. Grant items, passing the instance, and then show a tooltip on items. Should include the value. There is no display name. I don't think items ever display a name. There's no reason why we can't name all the items. Yeah. We could call them, you know, sword and dragon armor and whatever else. But is there a reason to do that? Probably not. Should include the value. Probably a picture of the item. And then if you didn't have space, it should tell you that you didn't and how you can fix it. Okie dokie. Hey, 1 and 2. All right, I'm going to go take a break. When we get back, we're going to pick up where we left off here. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hey again, close the game. Close the game. All right, so we wanted to, yeah, show values, but in a tooltip. Show items you couldn't get. All right, I think we should clean up what I've done so far, because there's enough that I've done that I should be able to revert to this commit if it doesn't work. Yeah. All right, let's go take a look through everything. So the end battle screen added the scroll container and the HFlow container for loot. I think that's fine. I think showing a label above it would be good. Maybe I'll write a little bit of like polish stuff. Maybe show a label for loot earned. And just lay out the UI a little bit better. Different font sizes, colors, padding, etc. Yeah, this UI is going to be something that I think you'll see quite a lot in the game. And every UI should eventually look good, but yeah, that one in particular, we could maybe spend a little bit of time on right now. Well, right now being this week. Okay, so what do we have here? Go through each item you did. Okay, yeah, that should be refactored a little bit. Abilities component is now saved off. If it's saved off, that probably means we don't need other functions to pass it in. We need to say it's a reference. Okay, yeah, I don't need to keep all this in my head right now. Let's just go start changing things. So this is end battle screen. Like I said, I want to change this. We're going to say private void add or set loot. And the loot comes from the instance. Instance. Useful to show the total value. Oh yeah, that'd be kind of nice. See if we can show the total value of loot in that UI. Well, I mean, clearly we can show it. It's a question of will it fit, and that I'm going to be very bad at. But yes, let's try to do that. I think it's a good idea though. Okay, go through every item and then add it all. Yeah. All right, so now delete all of this and just call set loot instance. What else do we need? I think that's good. Yeah, that was good for this file. Next was this. This should have a comment on it. Instance line 25. This is a reference to the cref equals town's copy of the player abilities. Yeah. All right, what does that look like when you hover over it? Yeah, looks good. Anything else? Yeah, just that's nullable, I guess. I'm still not sure how I feel about that. It gets set right before a battle ends, and then everywhere we go to use it, we just assume that it's not null. Which I guess is just there. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's fine. All right, that looks good. That looks good. I like every time we end up removing some lines from here. Granted, there was only 4, but still. Okay, so show loot in end battle screen. This is just a basic form of the UI so far. So next up, we need to show the ones you couldn't get. The storeroom has a function called grant items. It doesn't return anything. It needs to return which items you didn't get. Num items not granted. Yeah, we need to return that. How do we know which ones you didn't get? It's just everything after this item index. But this is... Yeah, this will work. Okay. I read only list item ID. All right, so the ones you didn't grant... Let's just have the AI do this. I just don't feel like thinking about this. All right, items not granted. Wow, look at that. Perfect. So easy. All right, then num items not granted. If it's greater than 0. Actually, if it's greater than 0, then do this. And then return this. Yeah. Now back in the town, we will get which items you did not grant. I don't actually just var foo equals whatever, and just change this. Yeah, so this is item IDs not granted, or item IDs that didn't fit. And now the instance should have that set before we show the battle screen. This is manager. Is that doable? Grant items is here. Show battle screen is here. So no, we need to just put this lower down. Now it's definitely doable. Haha. Now we pass in an instance. Town takes in that instance. Oh, which means this needs to change too. Oh man, this won't work. Okay, well, we're breaking the debug grant items right now, but I guess let's worry about that in a little bit. Instance dot item IDs not granted equals this. Yeah, now I'll make a property out of that. Internal set. Might as well just be public at this point. All right, then when we make the end battle screen, we initialize it. We got the instance. Yep. So now we just need to be able to highlight something red. Oh, this is tough. This is really tough. We need to just make sure we're removing it from the list. So we need to clone this list. List item ID. Item ID is not granted equals this dot. Is there like, how do you clone a list? Maybe just new list and then the original list. New list item ID. Does that work? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Then here, if it contains the item ID, this is just stupid. Yeah, can we remove one of this thing? Yeah, we can. Oh, this will work, but it's not good, and it's gonna highlight the first items you have in the list gray, and it should highlight the ones maybe toward the end or something. Yeah, and this thing's gonna break. I know about that though. I could just sort these. I'm probably gonna have to sort these. Yeah. All right, so how's this work? I'm gonna go to, I guess, load, and then start a battle in the final place. Win it. And I think it worked. It highlighted this one gray, and it highlighted this one gray, and then this. So how many items did we get? 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. How many displays do we have? 4, 8, 12. So there should be 5 items highlighted gray, and I only see 1. Oh, maybe both the swords are. Hard to say if we got a sword. 2, 3. Yeah, it must be both the swords are gray. All right, let's make it super obvious. Let's make it like, what color? Just some other color. It doesn't matter. Blue even. Yeah, let's make it like neon green. Yeah, green. Just want to make sure this is working. I think it is. But like I said, it's a little weird how this is functioning right now. Those 2 items could both fit. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 items didn't fit. And we got what? 4, 8, 12, 15 this time. So yeah, it makes sense that 3 wouldn't fit. Okay. Well, it's this, but I think we just need to iterate from the end of the loop or end of the... No, we can't do that. We just need to sort these or something. Magic magenta. Is that the official name of the color? Huh. So there are a few different ways we could show this. Well, maybe not a few, maybe just two. Option number one, show items you didn't get interspersed between the ones you did get. Option number two is show the items you didn't get at the end of the list. Which is better? Yeah, I think it's better to show them at the end of the list. How am I testing my methods? In this case, we're getting ready for a launch that's this Friday, so I'm not adding any tests. Although we don't really have too many tests to begin with. Yeah, there's like a few files you can see here. Development's been going on for a little over 2 months right now. And I feel like if we get to something that's causing a lot of bugs, I would add tests to it. It's a special pink color that contrasts nearly everything. Interesting. I've always just used, what is it, FF00FF. I wonder if there's like an online hex color picker. I guess I could have just used GIMP. Where do you type hex values in? Here. What? You not type it in here? I want to set a color. Is that it? That might be it. Yeah, that's probably it. Interesting. Yeah. I had the colors thing open, and I guess seeing them on a Wikipedia page shows you the visual of it. It's one of those where it only happens every so often, so you know it's a race, but you don't know it's racing. Yeah, what did it end up being? Or is it too hard to explain? I think I want to go with option number two. Just show the ones you didn't get at the end of the list. So how would we want to do this? I guess we could just save those to add afterward. Yeah. So we could say texture rect, or a list of that, I guess. Items not granted. And then down here, if it contains this, then add this here. Else, just put this here. And then at the end of all of this, hopefully it knows what I want to do here. I guess I'll do it myself. Texture rect. Yeah, there we go. Item not granted. All right, that should put them all at the end of the list for me. This is not the smartest way of doing this. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not the smartest way of doing this. But let's try it out. Start battle, go to Volcano 3, win the battle. Yeah, so all the items that couldn't fit went into the end of the list, and we had what, 4? Yep, 12. So there were 16 items. The demon helm, when you shift it green, there's like 1 pixel that's visible on it. But I never plan on having it look green. I think gray probably makes the most sense, or fading the opacity. Or drawing an X through it. Probably drawing an X through it. Yeah. But then you can't see, well, no, I guess I'll have the tooltip to show you. Agents that perform jobs after accepting them. If they have the can do this job component, if an agent accepted a job, then I remove the job. Agent returns the job back to the queue. Oh, but then I remove the job. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and so how did you fix it? I guess you needed to remove the component at the time of accepting the job. Hey, War Eagle. All right, so this is looking better. I think we draw an X over it, which I think means we now need a custom component to represent a like loot item. This component is being removed. I see. Hey, Z-Wubs. Yeah, I think we need a custom loot item scene. All right, well, let's go do that. So what is this thing? Well, let's start by saying what we need to have showing in here. It'd be the item graphic. it would be an X if it didn't fit, and a tooltip when you hover over it with more information. So I guess it's really just these two things. Yeah, fine. All right, so then it is a texture rect. And it might also have, this is going to be like item. Yeah. And then it might also have a label with just an X over it. Let's set this to be new Atlas texture, Oryx items, 16, 16, 16, 16. Where are you, item? There you are. Why do you look squashed? Is it because of the label? What? What's going on here? What's with the size of this thing? Custom minimum size 16 by 16. Actually 32 by 32. Node doesn't have a control parent. I mean, that's fine. This should be keep aspect. Why is it so large? Like what? The size is set to, oh, well, my bad. It was covering the full screen. Okay, then the label, we just draw an X. We probably draw it in red. Visibility, self-modulate, set to red. And then make the, God, there's a bunch of things we need to do whenever we add anything. Set this to nearest. And then the label, we want bigger. Theme override, font sizes. Just whatever it is that'll make this look good. We'll just keep clicking the button. There. It's pretty good, right? Okay, now let's try it with some different items. So we'll pick 96. That's pretty much the same thing. Okay, 96 over there. Yeah, pretty good. 128. 128. Maybe a slightly larger X. What's like the largest item we have in this sheet? I don't even know where the sheet is. Ah, here. Okay, maybe the shields? Yeah, shields look pretty boxy. Where are you? 192, 176. 192, 176. Yeah, it's also not really that easy to see, so maybe we should put an outline on this. We should have widened this. I like it. All right, so make the label a little bigger. There. Make sure it's still centered, and then put an outline around it. How do we do that? Here. Outline size 2. Font outline color black. Why is it not doing anything? Oh, you got to click away from it. Yeah, I think that's pretty visible, right? You can even make it a little bigger than that. There we go. Although you might think that this is just a design on the shield. But the first items you get won't be a shield, so you'll have hopefully seen the X before then. But yeah, I guess if the first thing you saw was an X on a shield or something, you might be like, oh, that's an interesting design. All right, so we're just going to say this is maybe UI item. No, that's dumb. Item, maybe loot item. Yeah, loot item. I like that. So you say this as loot item and give it a script. Source, scene, scripts, loot item. Yeah, grayscale the background image. I think that could be done too. I want to see how that looks. Well, if it's hard to tell the difference, you'll still be able to hover over it and see the original item. Crazy hard to get used to. Oh man, yeah, I had an Ergodox Easy and I also couldn't get used to it. Although back then I knew a lot less about just how you're supposed to use these keyboards. So I feel like it's easy to get into a pattern of trying to use it. So yeah, keyboard like this. It's easy to get into a pattern of trying to use it like it's a regular keyboard and putting like shift over here and control over here. But I think that's a mistake. I think you should look into home row mods or one-shot mods. And if you haven't seen this video already, check out this video that talks about this a little bit more. Because otherwise, I think what you end up doing is you end up contorting your hand in weird ways to try to use it like a regular keyboard, but it's like, it's clearly not a regular keyboard. And yeah, and my key map is there if you want any ideas for what to do. So for example, I have a dedicated shift key right here on the main layer. I think that's important. All right, so loot item. Let's go put these in properly. These are going to be loot items now. And instead of making a texture rect, we need to instantiate a loot item. Instantiate instance. Instance scene. Which means you need to load this first. So let's search for a different instantiate. Yeah, here. Okay. Want to make this over here. This is going to be a loot item. All right, the loot item should just have a way. Let's put this here. It's not granted. I'm not granted. This is now a loot item. Could do a circle with a line through it. Yeah, that's true. In fact, I wonder if we just copy pasted in that character, if it would work. No. I wonder why emojis don't work. The font must not support it? Yeah. Yeah, I think an X is just easier for right now. But yeah, I think BK, what you said, will look better. Moving my mouse using keyboard in different layers, pretty handy sometimes. Yeah, I have that too. You know what I think is most handy for, which I don't ever remember often enough to do? Sometimes you leave your cursor somewhere so you can type somewhere else, and then you want to click again just to give that same control to focus. So maybe I left it here, and then I Alt-Tab, and I go back, and now I'm like, I want to click here again. Just clicking with it is sometimes really nice. But yeah, I find myself not really remembering that I want to do that, and I just touch the mouse again. It's not a big deal. Okay, so loot item is there. We make a texture rect. I don't want to do that anymore. We're just going to do loot item dot init with what do we init it with? The item and then whether it's granted. So I guess the item ID. Then we need to know whether it's granted. How about we just pass in true for right now, and I'll figure that out in a second. Yeah. Public void init was granted. All right, so the first thing we got to do is set the texture. Copy that into here. And the texture is what this thing is, which I always find a little weird to do, but I guess, how do we do that? I guess we just start setting things on here. Texture equals atlas texture, which doesn't even exist here. Oh boy. And battle screen, atlas texture, this. Yeah, I need this up there. At least this is the right encapsulation of this logic. All right, so there's that. Now we need the item data. Item data shouldn't be needed over here. Yep. Next, we need game constants. All right, looking pretty good. Now, somewhere we set the atlas textures thing. Where do we do that? So if it was granted, then colors.white. If it wasn't granted, colors.gray. Dim gray. Dim gray. Sure. Texture rect. This used to just be the texture. So this is the modulate of this. But this is the self modulate, I think. Yeah. So now we're going to set the texture to this thing. Texture rect. Will that work? No. This is a texture rect. So I guess we just want to set all these same properties we have here. Yeah, which is what I had said earlier and just forgot. So we just move these things down to this. Yeah. Delete all that. Set these to semicolons. All right. I think we're good. We don't have was granted being passed in properly yet. Also, I need the namespace for this. And to delete that. So let's go pass in. Let's go pass in was granted correctly. Do not guard with list.contain. What does it suggest instead? Oh, invert if? No, I don't know why I'd say not to do that. But we're going to change this anyway. We're going to say like was item granted in here. Bool. Yeah, was granted. So if was granted, then we just add it. Otherwise, we do that. All right. I think we're good. Let's go try it. Oh, wait, no. I forgot the label. Yeah, whoops. This label, the X label, we got to go use. Yeah. Cut this out, go back over here, save that, and then get the X label. Private label, X label equals null. Override ready to get this. And then set its visibility here. Visible. There. Hey, Apta. How you doing? Are you ready? Ready for this? Win battle. Everything broke. I guess I wasn't ready for this. What happened here? Object not set in loot item line 30. That's the X label, which means that this is not added correctly. Which means we just put this down here. Done. Problem solved. Thoughts on September Surge? Gonna be looking to leave Salesforce, prepping for interviews. I've never even heard September Surge before, so I guess I don't really have any thoughts on it. I'm assuming there's an increase in hiring around then. Is this for every company? Every company, I mean, is this an average across all companies or just like big tech? Either way, from everything you talked about when you mentioned this last time, it sounds like leaving is the best idea at this time. All right, did it work? No, it's still broken. Oh my God. What's wrong this time? Oh, it's not necessarily added to the... Oh, whoops. Gotta add and then initialize it at the same time. Alternatively, we want like entered tree is when we do this. I think there's an override for that. I don't know if this is the best way of doing it though. Yeah, there's entered tree. I'm not going to do that. I think we're going to just do it this way. Although, will this even work? We would need to know down here. This would be false, but then we don't have the item ID. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this even a little differently. We're gonna initialize it, and then we're gonna set the label's visibility over here, maybe. No, that's dumb too. Apparently there is going to feel the market. Seems senior positions are still in demand. Entry level lowest though. Do you think they would have fired a bunch of people? I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Also, please do watch segmenting. Let's see. CrowdStrike stock. How has this changed in the last month? Yes. Oh, that dropped a lot. Wow. Yeah. It's like 100 and I guess it says right there, 122. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Every once in a while, I feel like there's a very obvious cause and effect with the stock price. There's still outages and flight delays. Yeah, man. Yeah. Ooh. All right, so I'm still torn on this because we don't add this yet. And we want to add them all at the end. And I don't want to do something stupid here. The was granted, I think, is either set or it's not set. So we could just, let's try this out. Was granted equals, actually, it doesn't, we don't need a default for that. So we'll set this over here. This gets initialized before we even enter the tree, so we can't do that. I guess in ready is when we would do this then. Then we need to initialize it before we call this thing. Man, okay, fine. Godot ready versus enter tree. What is the difference? Where's the official documentation for this? Page not found. Child, we know. Newly added scene will receive enter tree. And then everyone receives the ready. Oh, I see. So it's just that, yeah, it's just the order. Okay, so in this case, it's not going to matter too much. It's just us setting this stuff. So we would need to, we just call init before we call ready. Okay, I'll just write that here. This is called before. Yeah, we'll write it this way, before ready. Okay. They'll make someone a scapegoat to preserve the stock value. Yeah. It's just, oh, it's so funny to me. Stock really tanked. You don't think it'll reassure businesses who are looking to move away? It probably won't. Yeah. I mean, if I had that sort of thing happen, other than again, I wonder how long it had been before it happened in terms of each company dealing with CrowdStrike. Oh, I guess these companies weren't really dealing with CrowdStrike, were they? It was just like an airline that happened to use Windows and then happened to be affected by this. Are you calling it init before add child? I am, but it's because in one of the cases I need to call add child and then init. In the other case, I need to call init and then add child. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that it's always going to be this order for this particular one. And that's why I've got the comment here. So all this is going to do is just set was granted and I guess set the item ID. Yeah. Private item ID. Okay, we'll set that here too. And then we'll do all of this from ready. Honestly, this is probably what we should do in most places. Okay, then we just go change this around and we should be good. So we're always going to call init before ready. There, done. Let's try it out. Hey, coffee. Salesforce canned the engineer that did a routine script that took down Salesforce for an entire day. I mean, some of this stuff, you know, I had a friend who talked about this and they said people possibly died because of this bug. And you can't say that of every bug, but like hospitals losing their computer system for what, a day or 2 days or however long. It's like, yeah, that probably could have resulted in deaths. Yeah, I'm breaking SLA terms, yeah. Yeah. I think these are, I mean, it's unfortunate, right? There's some oversight that happened here. This is totally broken. Some oversight that happened here, and it's too bad the repercussions are as big as they were. You know, I could only imagine being stuck in an airport and thinking, seriously, it's because the computers are offline. I would be so upset. All right, so this is always showing right now. Why is that the case? Item IDs. I don't see what I'm doing wrong here. Every single item just got an X over it. Oh, because we don't set the label visibility anymore. Oh man. I don't know how I accidentally deleted that line. I think I had planned on moving it somewhere else and then just never did. Yeah, my bad. I'd make it a bit more transparent. Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea. Travel to rollback updates. Oh man, imagine that you can't travel because of the bug that was caused. But in order to fix the bug, you need to travel. Ooh. All right, yeah, there we go. So yeah, maybe don't fade them out so much. Maybe, okay, here's what I have an idea. Let's do a couple things. We'll say X label dot, is there like a transparency we can set? Or do we have to change the color? We have to change the color. Well, I guess there's a modulate. So equals was granted. I want it to be just a new color 111 0.75. Sure. And then instead of gray, what's a gray that's closer to white? Where's that page that, yeah, here. Oh my goodness. Even searching this page is ridiculous. Or is there like an off-white or something? I guess I want it to be gray. Is there just like a light gray? There is. It's not really all that light. I guess I could just make a color. Web gray. I want it to be higher than B. I don't see it. Then again, I just realized I'm looking at this page. Dark reader on, which is probably really stupid. So light gray probably is light gray. And it just looked really, really dark. Yeah, there. Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I'm stupid. All right, light gray. Let's go try that. Hey, Rust. Probably working overtime. Wouldn't be surprised if they're flying their SRE. Help fix on-premises networks. Yeah. Way too hard in the upcoming Path of Exile League. Oh, you can always play Skeleseller afterward. I'll probably close the feedback after a few days, though. But yeah, enjoy PoE. All right, grant most things. Try this again. Oh, I turned those red. Oh, darn it. Oh, man. We got to set the color of this to be red, but with opacity. So this should have been... Actually, I wonder what do they consider red to be here? Yes, red is exactly what I want. So it's either red or it's red with opacity. So 1 0 0. Saying Skeleseller. Nice. Yeah, and the items hardly look grayed out in the background, but I think that's fine. A few times per year is a perfect amount. Yeah, I've only played it for a couple hours. I just couldn't get into it. But I think the bigger reason why is that I think if I were playing an action RPG on my own right now, that I'd probably just get bored almost no matter what game it is. I think I would want to play it with friends. I guess the one exception is every once in a while I'll go back to Diablo 2. But even then, it's like I get to the end game and I'm just like, all right, I'm done. Wind. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to go to the volcano. All right, yeah. That's pretty good. I actually do think I want higher opacity. Are the outlines even showing? I guess they are and they're just tiny. No, I don't see them. What? I don't see the outline on that. It's here. If I set this to 40, for example, this will just make it obvious. Let's try that out. How much did I miss? Oh, I think what you are seeing that looks very different is the map that Dark added in. So yeah, the map makes this look a lot different. But otherwise, I mean, the game hasn't changed too much. Let's do that. Win the battle. I never actually started one. Okay, the outlines are showing, although I'm probably blocking it. So why do they look so good over here? But oh, because of how scaling works. If I were to scale this down to 100%, you wouldn't see it over here either. Yeah, it's just really subtle. So then maybe we should increase this to like, yeah, that's pretty good. 6 pixels. Environment art makes a big difference. I think music would also make a big difference. We're going to start working on music next week. There's probably going to be, yeah, just like at least 3 music streams. And we're going to bounce between just kind of coming up with some tunes and then trying to come up with instrumentation and everything. Okay, I think we're good. Now we just need to fix this. Add items takes in an instance. So that what? So that we can figure out which ones weren't granted. But we don't need to do that now. We could just do this. Item IDs. So I want this, and now I want to get all instance data dot generate drops. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, that should work. Okay. Hey, Iliad. Is this genre becoming more popular? Remember a great jam game from the last Ludum Dare like this? I don't know if it is. I feel like this genre, depending on what you categorize it as, would either be like an idle game or an item selling game, I guess. And I guess the first item selling game I played was a game called Dungeon Village. It was a phone game. And I definitely didn't think I want to make this someday. Yeah, I probably played this back in 2012. The way this game worked, it was kind of interesting. You place these shops down, and I think based on where you place them, you give benefits to the shops around it. And then your characters would come by and just automatically equip themselves and then go into battle and automatically fight. So you didn't control the characters of the battles. You just controlled the shop positions, I think. In fact, I should probably play this game again because one of the biggest concerns I have for Skeleseller is what are you doing when everything is on autopilot, and is whatever that is a problem? And I don't have an answer for that yet. But I just showed this game to a friend over the weekend, and he was like, oh yeah, I kind of want something more to do while battles are going on. And especially one of the things I'm probably going to code today is an auto battle feature. And once this is on, you could technically just walk away from your computer and come back and you'd have, you know, like $20,000 in the game. And I think idle games do one of two things. Either they like throw 100 systems at you, or they lean into the idle part. And they just say, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just have to wait, 6 hours for the next stage of the game. I do not like this. And if I had to pick one of the two, I guess I'd pick this since I don't like the other one. But I don't want to just put systems and systems and systems in the game and then have it be super complicated. So I do kind of wonder, is what's designed for Skeleseller enough? And that's what I'm really hoping to get from the feedback this time around. Sending 3 parties into dungeons, selling stuff. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look this up because I haven't seen that. Play Dungeon Village again. I have the game. I'm pretty sure I bought it a long time ago. But I don't know if it runs on modern phones. I mean, it's 12 years old at this point. Okay, so what did we do here? Oh yeah, this should now work. Yeah, cool. It does. Okay. So if I go back to this, start battle, win battle. Yeah. Yeah, so this is how this UI is going to look. I do want to tone down a couple of things. This should be maybe like 0.9. And light gray, I'm not even totally sure if we should do. I feel like the X is enough. It's fine. I think it's fine. Should be emulators that can handle it. Yeah, and if not, they've got a Dungeon Village too, I think. That's probably more modern. Yeah. With that said, I feel like this game has got to be different from all the other games that are out there without me having played all the other games out there. Just in terms of the specific decisions that we made. One of them, for example, is each adventurer just has 3 abilities. Right now, at least, there's a passive one and then 2 active ones. So when they're in battle, if I just go to, Force 2 and start with the rogue, it's like the rogue attacks really quickly and has a stealth thing that increases their dodge chance and their power during that time. And like, that's it. That's very easy to understand. It's just those things. And you can modify a few different properties of those abilities. But that way, when you're picking a party, you're picking, okay, which little puzzle pieces do I want? How do they connect with each other? Do I need heals? Do I need a tank? Do I need whatever else? But then since it's an automated game, as long as you're just winning battles, and if there's an auto battle feature, then it doesn't really matter too much. One of the best ways to make it different is not play the other ones. Yeah, and that's kind of, for better or worse, kind of a stance that I have. Like, I don't want to do a bunch of research into what the other games are so that I don't inadvertently copy their ideas. Uh-oh. Something happened here. Set loot. End battle screen, line 62. The instance doesn't exist in this case? No, not the instance. The item's not granted. Where'd that come from? Show end of battle screen. It only ever comes from here. Why can't I go to this line? What is happening right now? That it's not... Okay, I don't know. Whatever, I'll just go to it manually. End screen dot init. Show end of battle screen came from battle ended. And that should have been after we generated items, right? Oh, you can force battles to end. Oh, darn it. Type down things very, very often in your log and journal. Do you a lot of time to read that regularly, or do you just read them whenever it comes to your mind? When you say the log, are you talking about this? Because this is essentially my to-do list. If you're talking about this spreadsheet, this is my journal. And this is really just for archival, which is why I don't write a whole lot in here. Like each day probably averages maybe 2 lines. But yeah, this is meant to be, hey, here's the next stuff I need to work on. And then I just delete it from here when it's done. And even this is me just kind of being lazy about my own system. I use GitHub projects, and this is where I should be putting all the tasks. But it's just easier to write in a document and then just finish it. All right, I think I know what's going on here. If a battle naturally ends, then this won't work. Oh, wait. Oh, it's that you might not have gotten any loot because you would have lost. Oh. Well. Okay, we got to test that out then. So then here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make the instance when it generates loot. That's not instance. When it generates loot, it's just going to always exist. Item IDs to grant. Yeah, we'll just set this to a new thing. This will not have a question mark, which means that now the build is going to break because we're going to have an exclamation mark where it couldn't have been nullable to begin with. The build better break because I want to go remove that. I don't think it broke. What happened here? Monster zone. That's from Idle Descendants. Why is it even detecting this? This isn't even in the project. I don't know how to remove that. But no, that didn't break. All right, grant exclamation mark. Yeah, this is gone. All right, let's test that now. Hey, Mosa. At least it works for you. I'll try out that system. Been trying to get started with Notion, but just can't seem to. Yeah, I have a whole lot of things that I do for organization. The newest thing that I'm using is Obsidian. And those are these notes. And if you go to notes.adamlearns.com, you can see my notes. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. So even on Godot itself, it's like if you want to see all the notes I've been taking, they're all there. And there are plenty of them. Works wonders if you don't have to sync with others all the time. Yeah, I think that's the benefit of having just a text file as your list, is it's probably the fastest possible thing you can do. But then the problem becomes if you ever want to share it or any tasks. Here I'm have a hard time keeping it relevant or up to date as a knowledge base. I don't think you should worry about that too much. I think you should look at it this way. Did I hit a problem? If so, write down the solution. And that's it. Just start with that. Most of my notes have a troubleshooting section. I don't know if this one in particular does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, these are all problems that I had in the past. And I've found very often if you hit a problem once, you're probably going to hit it again. Especially with technology stuff, because you don't know what level you're going to use that technology when you're starting to learn it. Maybe you're learning it for fun. Let's just pick a random example. Let's say you're learning Java. When you start to learn Java, you don't know, is this going to be the language I use for the next 20 years of my life, or am I going to use it for 10 minutes now and never touch it again? Either way, writing down the problems you run into, I think, is a really good idea. But if you don't end up using it again afterward, then if you wrote down like, oh, here's how the keywords work, and here are the gotchas, and here's some libraries I use, then none of that stuff's going to matter in the future. So I don't think keeping it up to date matters too much. I think the two major benefits are writing stuff as you learn helps you learn, and two is yeah, if you do use the thing in the future, you'll have those notes. And that's another thing that I do, is I try to put reference links everywhere, so that if this knowledge ever changed in the future, let's say this is now out of date, a new version came out, then I've got a link I can go look at and be like, what was I thinking then? So yeah, lots and lots of reference links. In fact, if I just search for the word reference in here, let's see how many times it shows up. I don't think so. Yeah, but it's in a lot of spots. How much documentation is too much documentation? I think it's when it becomes problematic, and problematic means different things for different people. So if you're learning Java through a tutorial and you're writing down the entire tutorial, that's probably too much documentation, right? Like you're not processing the valuable parts of it. You're just copying things. And I think when it becomes unwieldy for you to search through, then it's probably too much documentation or poorly organized. But yeah, it's hard to say off the bat because some topics are just dense. Excuse me. Using it for a daily log at work. What did I plan to actually work on? Do you have it set to automatically give you a new daily note? Because that's a feature, but I don't use that feature. Yeah, so what we need to test now is winning battles the real way. So let's just start a battle and speed up the game. That's fair. Okay, so that worked. Now we need to lose a battle. So let's edit and go to this, and we should lose this one. We lost. Did it produce an error? It did. Well, that sucks. Excuse me. This should be a new thing, though. Why is this failing? Also, why can't I go to these things? Do I need to, like, zoom out? No, it's not a zoom thing. I don't know. So set loot. Value cannot be null. What is null here? The collection? The collection can't be null now. I probably modified something I didn't mean to modify. Yeah, this. Item ID is 2 grant. Oh, drat. What was that set to originally? Yeah, this was not intended to change. Oh, man. Did I mess everything up? I probably messed everything up. Gotta search for an exclamation mark over here. Well, you can't even do that. Oh yeah, they stop you from doing that. You gotta do it this way. This isn't gonna help me. No. Item IDs 2 grant. Yeah, this can be null. If you didn't get loot, then we just return, I guess. Yeah, fine. If instance.item IDs to grant is null. There we go. Now let's try that out. Open today's daily note. Yeah. Hey, Amy, thank you. All right. So we're going to try this again. Start a battle. One that we win. We should get, yeah, there's our potion. Now we're going to go lose a battle. and it shows a whole bunch of loot. I guess because we're not checking to see if you won the battle to give you loot. Whoopsie. Yeah, generate loot. This should only be done if you won. If result equals 1, then generate loot. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those days, I guess. We're still making progress, though. I'm happy with this. And if we get done with these 2 features that I wanted to do, the loot screen and auto battling, then I'll be happy. I think that's pretty good progress for a day. All right, let's try again. This was always working. Yep, no errors, right? Yeah, no errors. All right, now let's try with the battle we are going to lose. This one. Good, no errors, no loot. Now we're going to force a loss. Where's the button there? Okay, so repeat battle and now force a loss. Yep, looks good. And then repeat battle and force a win. Looks good. And this is the new feature we just added. There's a cloak that we did not get. So we got 2 cloaks and a dagger, 2 cloaks and a dagger, and then the one we didn't get. So as I mentioned, I'm going to keep coming back to this throughout the day, but I showed a friend this game on Saturday, and this was not there because we just coded this today. And he wasn't totally clear on how the game worked overall. Like, he was watching the battle play out, and then when he won it and this loot didn't show up, he was just like, oh, okay, I won the battle. And he's kind of looking around over here. And while he's looking around over here, you know, something just came over and picked up the cloak. So now if you were just looking over here, you wouldn't even see the cloak that was there. And then he looks at his money and he's like, oh, my money went up. I guess winning battles gives me money. And yeah, that's something that we need to clarify. It's like, there are lots of those little things where, yeah, if you've just never seen this game before, it's like the game isn't explaining what's going on right now. And over the course of the hour that he played, he pieced together pretty much all the rules. He did notice, you know, this is the rogue that he was using over here. And then it just disappeared from town. And then he realized, oh, when they go into battle, they're not there in town anymore. So these are things that, yeah, I hope we get more feedback on, and I'm hoping to address a little bit of by Friday. But I think this feature is now working well. Notification that an item was sold would be helpful, probably. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, I'm going to run. Actually, I've got to fix all these warnings that show up. .NET format creates another issue right now, which is another thing I got to fix. All right, so set loot is here. And I think that's working. Generate loot if you won. Item ID is not granted. There's be an empty array, although it doesn't really matter. We should never use that if you never had loot granted. Auto battle could make you lose a ton of items. Yeah, it could. And that's when players would have to cancel the auto battle option. You just have a bug where a fight can be won by letting a bug timer reach 0, which boots you out of the fight. But how long would that timer take? Or is this just for like one battle or something? Because if there's an internal timer and it's set to like 3 hours, then it means that, okay, yeah, it's a bug. Yes, you can win, but you can never really exploit it because a battle normally takes like a minute. So what does it matter if you guarantee a win after 3 hours? Unless it's the final boss or something. All right, looks good. Yeah, looks good. Good. Showing the battle screens now after invoking that for the instance. Good. What do we have here? Yep. Yeah, I think it's good. Shovel.skip, yep. Yeah, this, maybe we want to delete at some point, or at least maybe we want to throttle this. We probably want to throttle this call. I'll write that down as a thing that we maybe do. Consider throttling the call to storeroom.grant items. The floating text creation in storeroom grant items, yeah. Get a timer to save a kid from a collapsing house, which is 10 minutes. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's kind of cutting out some of the content. I'm kind of surprised they didn't find that in testing originally. I mean, clearly they found it and recognized it was a bug and then released a new version of the game. But yeah, the problem with the hardware releases is all the old versions still exist out there, and there's nothing you can do about them. Imagine it was just Squaresoft back then. Square releases a recall. We need your Final Fantasy games back. You kids aren't going to have fun. You're skipping a boss battle. Item IDs to grant. But this may not have been called. I guess this might be null, but we check here if it's null. No. No. Something's amiss. Grant items. Where does that come from? Here. This is only if you won. Okay, yeah. Then this is fine. Okay, cool. I think we're good. Neat. We're getting to the bottom of this. Yep, I think that's it. Okay, so what do we do? I don't even remember. What is it? I just looked through all this. We added an X. Yeah, X out items that you didn't get. That's pretty much it. X out items that you didn't receive due to not having space in your storeroom. Oh, it's in every version. Oh. Oh, I see. The timer is a physical item in the game. Oh. Got it. Okay, so this is something that they rarely encounter. I thought what you were saying is you go to location A, it just starts a timer on the screen, and then you get somewhere 10 minutes later, and then you'll automatically win the fight. And I was like, it sounds pretty straightforward, right? Wouldn't most people take long enough where they would have seen this bug? But yeah, no, it's harder to get to. Okay, the last thing I wanted to do here is show a tooltip on the items. It should include the value, probably a picture of the item, and then if you didn't have space, it should tell you that you didn't and how you can fix it. All right, so we need a special tooltip for this, unfortunately, because the tooltip that we have just has a text label, and what we found is that we can't show items, we can't show graphics inside the label and have them both be clear. Yeah, I see what I mean. So a harder setup than I originally thought. So what do I want to do for this? We need, if we're going to make another tooltip, we need the tooltip itself to contain another child here, which I guess means we can instantiate the scene and make it have editable children, or could just access that. What is the script on this? It has set text and position tooltip near mouse. Man, I want those functions. How do we do this? Yeah, I guess we inherit from this and then yeah, add another child. Well, what is the tooltip going to look like? It says you should probably have the item picture, the value, and then a message about whether you have space. Item picture, value, and then message if you don't have space for it. Probably like a 4x picture. Hey, Chris. Yeah, so how do I want to set this up? I mean, making a new scene is not hard to do, but then we need this same script that we have. And even this, what are we doing here? Have to be in the same spot. And in this case, all we really care about is the positioning of this thing. How does this work? Set text position that we don't have hovers over on this. Yeah, okay. Hey, Philip. On YouTube. I think, okay, I was not super delayed on responding. Hi. Yeah, I'm torn on this. Do we inherit from this and then just put another thing in here? How about this? Let's make the new scene without actually like committing to it. So this would be a loot item tooltip, and it would contain a few things. No, not a label. A texture rect for the item itself. Item. A label for the value, and then a label for like the no space message or not granted message. All right, value would be something like whatever, 10. The item, we'll fill that in really fast. And the not granted message would be something like, you did not have space for this in your storeroom. Upgrade your storeroom for future items. Hey, Pressel, happy Monday. And then I guess all of this stuff can be inside of a VBox container. Yeah, look at that stretched out item graphic. Oh, man. All right, let's fix this. Stretch mode should have been keep aspect. Yeah. And then I guess put the value above the item. I don't know where we want this. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we normally have the value above it. Oh, and then make this a little larger. How do we do that? Here we go. Yeah. Maybe that's too large. Maybe people won't be used to seeing that big. All right, so this is what we would have. Is it worth reusing tooltip for that? I don't know. I don't want to think about it. Yeah. But we do need all these other things. A panel container and then a margin container. Tooltip itself was a VBox container. All right. Add panel. Keep doing that. It's panel container. Margin container underneath that. Then all of this stuff. But that needs to be in a VBox container. So then the question is, do we need the root level one? And I don't know the answer for that. Yep, we can make this red. We can make this linear. Same thing here. All right, now we call this loot item tooltip. And we're going to need a script on this. Scene script. Unfortunately, it's going to very closely resemble the tooltip itself. We have, well, I guess it's not that similar. We have a label for the value label. And we have the item itself. Private texture rect item texture. Anything else in there? Just the not granted message. Private label not granted message. Oh, did you miss anything? I don't think so. Unless you mean on Friday. On Friday I had the interview with Sharon Lowe. That was really good, but I plan on putting them on YouTube, so if you missed it, it shouldn't matter too much. I have to put the one with Steve on there, the one with Mel on there, and the one with Sharon on there. I want to do this next week. And I might set a publishing schedule, so maybe it'll be like the Steve one goes online next week, then the Mel one, then the Sharon one. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll make them unlisted or something, and that way people can still watch them. In fact, I should probably write that down. Make them unlisted. I like that idea. Figure out more interviews. Yeah. Put them all online and maybe just make them unlisted till I publish them week after week. Yeah, other than that, nothing too much has changed. Or nothing is unusual, I guess. I guess something changes kind of every day here with the code. All right, so here is the foundation for this class. We need a couple of other things. We need, I guess, just an init. And we're going to take in the item ID. Yeah, and was granted. Pool was granted. Yep. Okay, so let's get the item data. All item data, get item ID. And then let's set the value label based on that. Yeah, value. The item texture, we really need a function for this. I'm gonna have to refactor this, but for now, let's just copy paste it. Yeah. Copy this stuff. And just write a to do. Refactor this. I'm gonna do this before committing. It's not like it's gonna be a long-term to do. So we have the texture. We don't care about this. We don't care about that. This is gonna be item texture dot texture equals atlas texture, and then all this stuff too, I guess. All right, now what's the problem? Oh, I forgot the equal sign. That's easy. And then the last thing is not granted message, which the AI should just know that I want to set the visibility. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah. All right, then move this into its own namespace. There we go. All right, so all that is set up now. We don't have positioning, and loot item needs to know about its tooltip. So I guess we put this, where do we want to put this? To give each one its own tooltip is kind of ridiculous. We maybe should have just made one and have it initialize it with whatever we do. Yeah, that's probably what we should do. So the end battle screen should have one of those. I guess we're going to put it inside of a control. And in that case, it doesn't need to be there. It could just be, it's a tooltip, so it's got to be higher up. How do we make this a sibling? I guess like this. Nice. All right, then we instantiate in the loot tooltip here. And we'll just say loot tooltip parent. It's kind of a stupid name, but it's inside of a control so that it breaks out of the container. Now we got to go set that. Let's do that. All right. Private loot item tooltip. And that is inside of a totally different location. This is get node there. And then anytime you hover over an item, we need to show this. So how about this? When you set loot, we'll just have it pick one of these. It doesn't matter which one, this. And we'll just say init with item ID in true. Yeah, sure. And I guess when you initialize it, I guess we'll just be showing this now. So it's going to show at some random spot in the screen. We need a position function. But for now, let's try that out. So if we win a battle, we should see that whatever the last item is, I think that'll do. Yeah, the last item is what will show in the tooltip, and the tooltip will be at a random spot. So let's go grant most things, start a battle, go to the volcano, win the battle. And now where is, it looks like it broke. Well, that's fun. Set loot. This is in end battle screen. 82 loot item tooltip not found. So that means that the arrow is actually up here. Unable to cast VBox container to loot item tooltip. Oh, because I never gave it a script? Or because I moved it? Or because I never saved the scene? I never saved the scene. All right, well, unfortunately, there's more than just that wrong. All of this, these are in a different spot altogether. So it's inside this thing, copy path. Control container equals get node. Oh, did it actually? Wow, nice. I guess I do that often enough. And then all of these can just be git container or git from the container. How are we looking now? I gotta do this stupid steps again. I should have automated this. All right, where's the tooltip? I don't see it anywhere, which means it broke. So this is now inside of loot item tooltip, line 24. Value label doesn't exist. If I forgot to save a scene, I'm gonna go bonkers. Yeah, it's just not called value label. It's called value item and not granted message. Value item. Yeah. Gotta have things match. All right, let's go try that out. Did we do it? Did we do it? I don't see a tooltip, but it could be at any random spot on the screen, including nowhere. Where are you? What do you look like? Okay, you're beneath the screen. That's why. That's why we can't see it. Well, then we got to go make it show on the screen. So tooltip has a position at mouse. We're going to just copy this for now. And we're going to put this into end battle screen. Private void update tooltip position. Actually, how about just show tooltip? And we want to show it with whatever item is being hovered over. Item. Actually, it could just take in a loot item, right? And then from there, it can know what to do. Yeah, but I need to make properties public. All right, well, it is the best way of doing things. So fine, loot item, item. So screen positioner, sure. Now we need to actually use this. How fun. Public item ID, get set. Actually, just get private set. I guess same thing here. Good, delete that. Then rename these things. Good, and then we just need to use it from here. So we get the tooltip, init it with item ID, and item was granted. And then actually make the tooltip visible. And then call this function from here. Loot, what's it called? Loot item. Yeah, except for not with an underscore. Then we need mouse hovers and whatever, but we'll get to that. So this will position it at the right spot, which is the mouse. So if I just do start battle and then speed this up a bit, we'll see it right there in the middle of the screen. Oh, positioned everything there. My bad. Hey, Magnetic Pine. It's so funny that I even have that. Give viewport right mouse position size. Yeah. Cracks me up every time. Easy humor effort. We're working on showing loot after a battle and showing what loot you didn't get after a battle. So I'm just making a tooltip show in the middle of the screen right now. Yeah, it's positioned incorrectly, but whatever, we'll figure that out. But yeah, here you see we get 2 potions and then the third one couldn't fit because we only have 2 displays. So when you hover over this, it'll tell you you lost this because you don't have enough storeroom displays. And it's this tooltip that will show, but I just haven't gotten this working yet. Yeah. Simon O. Dark did that last week. And now the camera is clamped to the boundaries of the map, so you can't go outside of it. So there's no way to see blank space. And the water is animated. Although it's a little bit subtle because at regular speed, this is the speed it animates at. So I don't think it's very obvious when you're zoomed out, but that's okay. So why is this positioning way down there? It has mouse position plus 30. I am not sure why. Maybe we need to position the parent. Does this have a position? Layout, transform. It does. Oh, maybe that's why. I actually don't know. Do we have to say get parent dot position? No, node does not contain a definition. It's not a node, is it? It's a control. Oh, it doesn't know that it's a control because I need to say that it's a control. But even that might not have a global position. It does. Okay, does that fix it? Took you 15 minutes to realize there are crabs? There are? Oh, wow. They're not actually moving, though. Well, then they're dead crabs. All right, so is this going to position correctly? Should put it roughly near the mouse. I don't know what's going on. What is going on? Where did it put that? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think you can position it like that. I don't think that works. But I'm not sure why this isn't working out. Whatever, let's just add in the mouse hover things, and that should help us fix a lot of this. So we're going to say mouse entered plus equal. This is going to be show tooltip. It's not the mouse entered for this then, I guess. It's the mouse entered for the item that we create. Yeah, loot item. Loot item mouse entered. And loot item mouse exited. All right, let's try that. He's a giant enemy crab. 1 trillion defense. All right, just win the battle. So I hover over these. It's showing kind of sort of close to the mouse, but it's doing something weird. Oh man, what is it doing? Let's start another one over here. Like, is there any rhyme or reason to what's going on with this? I guess we need to win a battle at a later location. Oh, you can't even. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. All right, can this go? Okay, yeah, it's getting clipped. Oh, because it's inside. Oh man, oh, this sucks. It's inside of this viewport. That's why we can't do that. So we need the tooltip to be in a different viewport entirely. Oh boy. Well, is it working? Yeah, nice. It's working. You did not have space for this in your storeroom. Upgrade your storeroom for future items. Yeah, and the value should have a $sign. But yeah, all we need to do is make the tooltip go to a different place, which means showing this from a different place, which means adding a bunch of signals, which is going to be kind of annoying. But I need to take a quick break. And first, before I do that, I want to put in the value thing. What is it called? Tooltip. Tooltip. Now we need a $sign somewhere. There. There. Okay. All right. So where we left off is get the tooltip to show outside of the sub viewport. All right. I will be right back. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello. Close the game. Okay, so I think the only way to do this is to have the tooltip be in a different scene altogether, because the structure that we have for this is that these, I believe, yeah, is a sub viewport container, and then this is a sub viewport, and this is where we're putting the tooltip. This view is very small, and the tooltip should be able to show outside of that. So yeah, I think the tooltip needs to be in here, and then we need signals that let us get the information in there. So we basically need to cut this out of here and paste this over to here somewhere. Let's just paste it here for now so we can save immediately so we don't lose this. Yeah. Okay. Hey, 3D extended. Let's get that now. So I guess we take it out of, where even is this? End battle screen? Yeah, in here. So we take it out of here and we put it into town. I'm glad we're reusing this at least. And then in end battle screen, you got it? Congrats. Congratulations. You're in for a fun and exciting and tumultuous next like couple of months probably. Actually, you said it would be a couple of months before you could even move, right? So I guess it's not the next couple of months that are going to be that hard. Tumultuous. But still exciting. All right, loot item tooltip. Is this the right path? Yes. Do you have a canvas layer just for tooltips? No, it's just the whole screen. Because there's nowhere that tooltips shouldn't be able to show up. Okay, so end battle screen is going to need to signal somehow that we want to show this tooltip. Yeah, not stressful at all. Well, it is a big thing and there is stress involved, but it's generally a good thing. It'll be a few months, yeah. Yeah, geez, every mentoring session is just turned into, oh, hey, this mentee bought a house. Hey, this mentee bought a house. 2/3 of my mentees are buying houses right now. Just put it on the canvas layer and position it right. Oh, are you saying you made a canvas layer within this scene? Like, add canvas layer? Oh, a global one? Oh, never mind. Okay. Could you put it in an individual one, though? Hey, freshwater fern. You're cooking there, Chief. How's your game coming along? I know you said it's on, you're in the decades-long game jam, essentially. But I see your stream titles are like day number 1096, Captain's Log, added pixels, 100 more years of development, 100 more years for every comment, 1 Breath of the Wild lifespan. Well, I'm still looking forward to playing it when I'm on my deathbed. 1,000 years from now. Last one was Binkle pilled. Is this the term I don't know? I don't see anything when I search for it. Yeah. You should say that this character is cell shaded. And then just put a picture of Link. I was debating on whether a canvas layer would work here, but I'm guessing Magnetic Bind, you access it globally too, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. What a marketing slogan. Be my mentee, you'll get to buy a house. There's a 2/3 chance you'll get to buy a house. Whereas some other mentors out there are probably promising you'll win the lottery. Now those are the lucky folks. You don't learn a lot, but you get a lot of money. So this is going to be on show loot item tooltip and then on hide. And this takes in an item ID and a bool, and this takes in nothing. Okay, so now show goes to here, question mark dot invoke with the loot item. How did we not pass in was? Oh, right, because we changed how that works. This is just a loot item now. Cool. And then the same thing, question mark dot invoke. And this is what, hide. Then the town needs to listen to those. What did I have there already? Because that's what I want. Drat, what did I have there? I don't know. All right, well, whatever. It's a loot item, and it's going to be loot item tooltip dot show. Yeah, that's it. And then on hide will just be this dot hide. All right, now why is this red? Because the tooltip doesn't have it, the battle screen has it. Oh man. All right, well, that's too bad. Pack it in. This is a dumb idea. I made all this up. It's complete nonsense. Well, now I'm offended. I rely on information, and when someone gives me bad information, nonsense information, yeah, so problem, the town doesn't know about end battle screen. We would need to funnel signals through a bunch of other components. It's possible to do, it's just kind of stupid, I guess. The instances manager, it has an end battle screen. Oh, fine, I'm gonna put this there, but I don't think I like this. Yeah, I don't think I like this. So these just get connected directly from the end battle screen. End screen dot on whatever it's called. This is loot item. Yep. And then on hide needs to do the same thing. Oh, I don't like this. I just don't like it. I just want to use globals everywhere. So now this comes from the instances manager. Do we not have a... Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. I don't know why I didn't complete. All right, then where do we make the instances manager? I got to figure that out. And I think we're pretty much good. Yeah, here it is. All right, now what's the problem? Oh, I accidentally pasted in the middle of something? What did I do? Something's wrong. Yeah, something's definitely wrong. This just has start instance dot. Oh, this is on the next line. That's why. Oh, my bad. All right, no method for show takes one argument. Why? Because... Oh, wait, it's not called show anymore, is it? It's called a knit or something. Okay. Hey, Dan. It's going well. I want to show what's going on here in just a sec. Oh, man. It's loot item dot item ID and loot item dot was granted. This is really stupid, though. This should just take in a loot item. So let's go change that. Yeah. Loot item, loot item. And then just paste this stuff over down to here. And bool was granted equals loot item dot was granted. All right, there. Yeah, so I did some user research this weekend, got a lot of feedback. I want to incorporate that. We haven't actually gotten to the incorporation yet because there were other things I wanted to do that I just didn't have time before the user research session. Name loot item tooltip doesn't appear. What are we in? End battle screen? What is this function even doing here? What is this doing here? I don't think any of this belongs. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so much for a knit. That's not even what I meant either. Loot item. No, I don't even... Where did I put this? Huh. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I just didn't have a parenthesis. Okay, so this is going to be show tooltip loot item. Yeah, what a time. No, we don't even need that. All right, so now we're calling it on this. Why is that a problem? Because it takes in a loot item now, of course. And we just need a screen positioner. And now we're good. Yeah, so this is one of those key UIs that I feel like we're early on in development where I can't just keep saying about everything that, oh yeah, this should have been in the game already. But it's like, these are big features that I almost wonder, was it worth launching checkpoint number 1 in the state that it was in? And I guess it was. I got feedback. I changed the direction a little bit. That's the whole fail fast kind of thing. So this shouldn't be done here. And now we're probably good. Yeah, and maybe from checkpoint 2, we'll get some feedback where it's like, oh yeah, this is blindingly obvious, but we should have known. All right, please tell me this works. Win battle. All right, showing at the top of the screen, but it's at least showing. That's something. So now why is it showing up there? Set the global position to this thing based on the mouse position, based on the town. Oh, and it climbs the screen. Yeah, I don't see a problem with this. I don't know why that's happening. Fail fast with stuff that shouldn't even work. Yeah, I guess you still learn whenever you... I guess there's only one time you don't really learn, and it's when you already have enough feedback to act on. Then there's a pretty high chance that if you put the product in someone else's hands, you're just going to get the same feedback. But any other time than that, like let's say you've addressed some of it and you put it in somebody else's hands, I think you'll learn something. Viewport shenanigans, I'm not sure. So I want to see, is it obvious? Okay, it's not even positioning it based on the X coordinate. So where is this thing in terms of the scene tree? Loot tooltip parent. It's just directly in the town scene. Maybe I should have put this in the UI. I mean, I think it makes more sense in the UI anyway. How do we put this there? Did I just crash? No, I didn't. Okay. Now it's inside UI. That might be the better position for it. Let's try that out. Yeah, the map does look cool. That was all Dark's work. Using the Super Retro World graphics. Please work. No. Why is it up there? Oh, I just realized it's actually showing up. Well, no, now it's showing up on top of it. But it's still not being positioned correctly. And there's no error. This should be like show loot item tooltip. Why is this wrong? Mouse position X and Y. Then clamp to screen, give viewport rect. Well, let's put a breakpoint here. Oh, I can't because I just changed it. Maybe the size is wrong? That makes sense. Maybe it's 0 somehow. Okay, so what are these things? Viewport rect should be 1920 by 1080. It is. The size is probably 00 then. It isn't. Oh, it's the whole screen. Oh, well, that's a problem. Whoops. That's an easy problem to fix. We click, what is it? Up here? No, we can't do that. Up here? There's some like custom button you can set. Maybe, yeah, just click that. Yeah, I think that's it. And then maybe the same thing here. No, that's already set correctly. I think that'll work. Oh, then we can get rid of the breakpoint. Wow, that started fast. Still wrong. Okay, let's put the breakpoint back in. What does it think the size is this time? Still 1920 by 1080. Is that why it ran so fast? Because it doesn't know that it actually had something to do there? I don't know how that could be getting size to the entire screen still. What? All right, let's just do it through here. Figure out what I need to change. The size of this is 128. Size of this is 0. So how is it positioning it up there then? These don't even have a size of what it says it does down here. Huh. Maybe I need to change the container sizing. There's no container though. Shrink center. These are not doing anything, are they? Oh, they might be doing something and it's just impossible to tell unless... No, yep, it's not doing anything. Something is amiss here though. If this still thinks it's 1920 by 1080, then... I mean, something's trying to position this such that it takes up the entire screen. We stop the game, look back at the regular scene. Anchors? Are the anchors set wrong? I don't see a problem with this. This has the... Yeah, I don't see a problem with this. Nothing's set to fill. Yeah. Weird. Let me run this again. It doesn't seem to think the size is the full screen. But VS Code does. Or rather, the debugger does. It's not like it's VS Code. I just click this and hover over here. Oh, size. Oh my God. Size is the town. Yeah, whoops. Well, that would have never figured that out. Thank you, debugger. Now is it finally working? Yes. Now I just need to shrink the rest of the loot item tooltip. This doesn't... Something needs to know to shrink its width. Why is it taking up so much space? Probably just because its size is set that big. Size is set to be gigantic, but it's a child of a container. So this is gigantic. So you need a lower size. Yeah. That should do it. Now what we really should do is test... Hang on one sec. We should test this with different items or something, but I guess actually the tooltips are always the same size, unless the... Wait, why are these gigantic again? Did I forget to save? I probably forgot to save. Let's see. I didn't forget to save. Oh, anchor is still set to full rect top left. I think that might have been it. Oops. Can't click the lose button. No, it's still wrong. Well, I guess we can just look at the remote view and see why it's wrong. Okay, so you're over there. Why is this size so large? If I manually decrease it, it's fine. Maybe I just needed to manually decrease it. No, it doesn't lower at all. It's already as small as it should be. Oh, wait. Oh my God. It's being sized based on the label that isn't always showing. That's why. So if I just hide this, then it doesn't know to shrink. We would need this to be inside of an HBox container. Ooh, is that right? If I put this in here and then hide this, why is this happening? Because this doesn't have the right sizing flags, maybe? Shrink begin. Is that void? It's so close. So close to figuring this out. Yeah, I don't know though. Man, does anything have no, it doesn't have a minimum size. No, I don't know. Horizontal shrink begin. Did that work? This is gonna have the wrong paths to these things now. Loot item tooltip now needs to pull from a different container. Needs to be an HBox container up here. I don't think this is going to be right because it doesn't look right in the editor. And if it's not right here, it's probably not going to be right outside of this. No, it's not. What do I need to do? I'm actually not sure. Godot size container without counting invisible node. Possible to change scale using containers. Maybe this isn't a thing. Calculate control node sizes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do this. Shouldn't take them into account. The thing is, this is okay. So the size of this dialog is definitely being sized based on this label. That's what the horizontal size is coming from. Hey, Goldskin. Pretty sure your cam takes more space on the stream every time I watch you. I have a zoom here that I guess I just don't set the exact same every time. I try to set it between 19 and 20 millimeters. What happens if you delete it? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, it's still sized that way. So thanks, Magnetic Mind. Why is it happening? Oh, is it this? Does this have a minimum size? It has a size, it doesn't have a minimum size. Do any of these have a minimum size? That. There we go. There we go. Yeah, okay. Now, did we need the HBox container here? I'm going to save this and then make the change. So if I put this up here and then show this and then hide it. Oh, it looks like it's working. Yeah, I don't think we need this. So now we can delete that. And now it should be good. Let's build it and run it and see. Yeah, nice. Now what happens if we repeat the battle and don't have enough space? Okay, that was broken. Drat, why was that broken? Didn't show up the first time. Why wouldn't it show up though? Or maybe it just didn't have enough space in the component for it because of setting this to be visible. I want to try that again. And yeah, the map does look great. That is Dark's work. Are we going to win this? So if I hover over this, it doesn't show the label. If I hover over this, it also doesn't show the label. But the size did change. I think it's positioning it before it's got the correct size. Yeah. So I think what we need to do is say get minimum size. Will that work? This might do it. This is a little bit weird. This is kind of a quirk of Godot in how it calculates size. Technically, it waits until the end of the next process frame, I think. Something like that. Let's repeat this and win again. Yeah. So now I hover over this one. Hover over this one. Yeah, nice. That worked. Cool. So this is how you'll know that you did not have space for items, assuming you weren't watching the storeroom at the time. You did not have space for this in your storeroom. Upgrade your storeroom for future items. Yeah, I think it's clear. All right, now we just need to fix the coding sins that we've committed. Well, none of that's code. Here's the code. All right, all that's fine, actually. That's fine, too. this is also fine. I know there was a sin here somewhere. Where is it? This, to do refactor this, yeah. All right, but that's pretty easy to fix. So not bad. Where is that? Loot item tooltip, loot item tooltip. So somewhere here I have a like an animation thing. Walk sprite sheet converter. That's what it is. Okay, I think I want something like an item sprite sheet converter. Yeah. This is in animation functions though. We need it to be somewhere else. Maybe in items. Hang on 1 second. All right, I'm gonna put up a BRB screen. Give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. My wife needed a mouse, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can help you with that. And then we went rummaging around and found a mouse. I'd like to apologize for your action. I don't even know what happened. I wasn't here. Ah, now I see. Well, at least you apologized. Apology accepted. All right, so what was I doing right before I left? It was refactoring. Yeah. I was going to move something into here, not this one, but somewhere else. Let's find the right folder for it. Game source items. There's item functions. I guess I'll put it in here. All right, thank you, develop it. So we'll say item sprite sheet converter. Cool. Call this item sprite sheet converter. And then what did I name it for the other thing? Let's close out of all other tabs. Yeah. So there was another sprite sheet converter. What I call this, get character atlas texture. Yeah, let's call it that. Fine. Get item atlas texture. Get item atlas texture. Okay, now how does this work? Like this. Just paste this up here, I guess. And we need to take in either an item ID or item data. Let's take in item data. I guess it doesn't really make a difference, does it? Not really. Now let's go fix these things. Okay, now we need a... We could either return... How's this going to work? Because for this one, we set this in item texture. For the other one, I don't think we did that. Just search for this code. What is it doing? Loot item. Yeah, here we set it in this. I don't think this will make a difference, really. Self-modulate, custom minimum size. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this will make much of a difference. Although we do need to copy all these things over. Man, it's too bad. It's too bad. It almost makes me think that this loot item should just be a control, and underneath it should be something that we can just set a texture on. Yeah, it's the difference between returning an atlas texture from here and a texture rect. And I don't think I probably ever return a texture rect, do I? No, I don't. All right, well, the atlas texture on its own is fine, so let's at least return that. Yeah, that saves us some of this work. Now let's get rid of the other code and then see if we want to refactor anything else. So this equals item sprite sheet converter. There's that, and then this one. This, oops, wrong thing. Meant to put it here. What game is this? I'll download it when it's done. It's called Skeleseller. It's a game about running a town, selling items, hiring adventurers to do battle. All right. That should do it. Texture filter, item texture. We could just set this on the item texture itself inside loot item tooltip, right? Item here. Is this set to nearest? Okay, now we can delete that line of code. We'd probably do that somewhere else. Yeah, here too. Loot item. Loot item. Do you not have this set? No, you do. Yeah, so we don't need that either. All right, the rest of this I think is pretty good. So one last question is, should this be double size? Let's see what it looks like. Might look stupid. Because it's the only place in the game it would show up that big. But let's see. I kind of like it. Yeah, I kind of like it. Let's see what it looks like when you have a ton of items there. Yeah, I like this. I kind of wonder if we should draw the X over this as well. But no, I don't think so. Yeah, there's a map finally. And the gaps between the instances are gone. If I full screen this, hopefully you can still see this. Let's see. Yeah. There's now no blank space. And if I start a battle over here, just do this. Yeah, it's like everything is being used now. You can still zoom in. You can't go outside of the boundaries of the map. Unfortunately, this did something kind of bad here. Now the distance between this item display and the shop that you use the most at the beginning of the game is farther. I mean, we could technically fix that by just putting a path out of here to the right. But still, it's farther. And a lot of the balance was based on like, okay, here's how many seconds it takes to get from point A to point B. Yeah, it looks good. All right. All right. All right. Let's close out of this. So we should be able to check this in now. Yeah, I'm glad we consolidated that. In fact, I wonder if we do this anywhere else, because we might need this in another spot. No, the only code that uses it is... Whoa, wait, what? What is this? Quest item graphic. Interesting. Why do we do this? We set a different region afterward? I mean, fine. I'm not going to change that. But what about this? This looks like it should change. Yeah, this definitely looks like it should change. Set up dialog box for next quest. We don't even need the Atlas chords, right? Yeah, we don't need this. Items, sprite sheet converter, get. this is all item data.get. It kind of makes me think we should just pass in an item ID. Quest data doesn't contain a definition for this. What required item ID? Will the user be able to modify or affect in any way the layout of the map? Maybe. I don't know. I liked the idea originally of, okay, you could pick which shops to make and where you want to make them. And this was way back in the original game design when it was like, okay, maybe you could have like 4 different blacksmiths and maybe you have like a skill tree for the blacksmiths and you have different ones have different specialties. And I was just like, I feel like there's a lot of complexity for no major gain. So affecting the layout of the map, I think there'd be like, they're kind of 3 levels of what we could do here, at least that I can think of. One is nothing, which is certainly the easiest. The other is like some kind of full customization. And in the middle could be some like preset changes that get made. So for example, imagine if there was an upgrade that said something like make a shorter path to the alchemist. And by getting that upgrade now, that path, like there's your storeroom, maybe it carves out a dirt path over here. So it's something that we had planned. You don't get to pick where that path is, but it still does change the map. And then other little things like maybe whatever, a new shop gets built and it's in this territory, but you don't get to pick the territory. Something like that. So I could definitely see that being possible, but I don't think full customization is something we want to allow. Also, in games that do this, like when I think of games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, both are really obnoxious when it comes to building placement. Like in Stardew Valley, you walk away from your farm to go to the person who makes a building for you. And then you try to place it and you realize, oh my God, there's a bush in the way. And you have to walk all the way back. And then maybe the shop closed in that time. And it's kind of tedious. And in Animal Crossing, I don't fully remember how it worked there. I think it's the same general concept though, where like you need to clear out all the space you want to use. And if you're 1 square off, then too bad, go fix it and come back. So I think anything that allows for building placement, it's like there's got to be a good reason to allow for building placement. I'm pretty sure I already looked through all this. Oh yeah, and then I found the other. Okay, so wait, we need to try accepting a quest then. And make sure that the graphic still works for that. Yeah, let's see. There we go. There it is. Okay, so we click this. Yep, it's showing a bow. What about this one? Showing a cloak. What about this one? Showing a potion, yeah. Yeah, the other thing my friend said is it's a little bit hard to tell that there's a quest there because when you're zoomed out, it's like, can you see it still? And it's there. It's just, it's not obvious. It looks like a tiny, thin yellow line. So we're going to have to make that more obvious too. I'm going to look through this one more time. I know I've been looking through this multiple times, but I think we're good now. And we got rid of the to-do. Yeah, this can be deleted. Okay, I don't like this. I feel like there should be a general tooltip positioner that says position it at the mouse. And it's a static function somewhere. Does it do anything that wouldn't allow it to be static? Let's write this down as cleanup for later. Yeah, so cleanup. Make a static function out of positioning the tooltip at the mouse. Everywhere that we do get viewport rect is typically for tooltips. So just search for that code. Use a gold sword. I think it's just a question of like, how do we make it visible when you're zoomed out? And I think we just need to make it a little bit larger or maybe aware of the zoom level. So if you get zoomed in, it's not as large. Like it always takes up the same amount of space on the screen maybe. Or maybe there's a mini map or something. I don't know. There are a lot of different ways we could affect it. So add tooltips to loot item. Oh yeah, and I never wrote why this was in the town. I guess I'll write it here. This had to be in the town because end battle screen is inside of a sub viewport. So it would be confined to the boundaries of that viewport. Cavity in screen space instead of world space. Yeah. Oh, I also, like, there is a reason why you might not want to accept the quest. And the reason would be maybe you want the money from those items. In which case, if you chose not to accept it, but you knew there was a quest, you should make a way of dismissing it. Not sure. You could make a centralized quest list. Yeah, I think we're going to do some more of that sort of thing. So one of the things that I'm going to show you an image that Dark made, which I think is very interesting. Where is it? Here. Open in browser. Okay. So this is just a quick UI that Dark mocked up. And hang on a second. I'm trying to get out of this. There we go. Yeah. And Dark said, like, what other buttons do we necessarily need here? So, like, showing your money, pretty important. Showing a game menu, yeah, pretty important. Maybe you want to save or you want to change the volume or something. But if you look in the game right now at all the other buttons that we have hire, level up adventurers, skill trees, upgrade the storeroom, and then the menu. So money and the menu are in this new UI. You saw that here, money and the menu. And then everything else should not be a button necessarily. So hire, we wanted to have a guild, and the guild could have an NPC out front or a signpost or something. Same thing with leveling up. This could be at the guild. Then for skills, I do actually think that should probably be in the UI that's always visible, because those are things you're probably going to tweak a lot. And then upgrade storeroom, there could just be an NPC at the storeroom or a sign or something like that. So we put more things in world. A quick exit button. There's just like 7 exit buttons on the UI. All right, so what remains of this task? Show tooltip. We're done with that. And then maybe show a label for loot earned and just lay out the UI a little bit better. See if we can show total value. Yeah, this I did already. Self-destruct. Blow up all the shopkeepers. Auto battling. Okay, so this is the next major thing I'm going to work on today, which we're not going to have time this morning to do. But let's just take a look at the game right now. There are many features that went in the last week that I think are crucial for the game. So one of them was quests, which you kind of saw. If I just start a battle here, actually, this is the other feature. Instances used to just be blank space and the town would get cut off by seemingly nothing. And now it's getting cut off by, well, this should be delineated a little bit better. But there's a big button here, start battle. This is the other major feature. Repeat battle at a location. You can actually see what items you got. We see our adventurers going and taking those couple potions we've gotten. Then this is the other major feature. You can actually pick your party and where you're going when you're going into battle. I can grant most things and you can see how this works. There is a way of choosing which party member you want. This is too close to the bottom of the screen. Yeah, that's a bug. All right, I should write this down. I'll put this here. Bug. This is getting positioned too close to the bottom of the screen when you have all the instances unlocked and you move a character into the battle party such that it exceeds the size that the instance allows. Yeah, so anyway, quests were the other thing I wanted to show. Are any of these the right quest item? No. I will just increase the game speed until we get one. There we go. And now we just need to wait for them to move that bow. There they go. So you get a quest. Quests were already technically in the game, but the cool thing now is that there's the proper dialogue here. And once you complete the quest, you get a skell point, which you can use in your tree, which currently has 4 different things in it. And we have the concept of prerequisites here. So if I click cloning, it actually puts a point into Swift Shoes. If I right click Swift Shoes, it takes a point out of cloning. And the cloning itself, I think, was a clever way of allowing you to have multiple skeletons without explaining why they all look like you. So now it's in universe. It's cloning. It exists. They have the technology. I should call them bone clones. So stupid, but I kind of like that. That way it's clear that it's just cloning your skeleton. Yeah. And when you right click, it just deletes them. So technically this could delete an item. If they're picking up an item and you get deleted, then they're just gone. But yeah, a lot of stuff is new, and I think it's going to come together pretty well. Am I a clone? No, you're not a clone. Your clone is a clone. Now, once your clone is in existence, then you start to doubt which one's the real you. But trust me, it's you. Or is it? Yeah, auto battling. Auto battling. I want to write down what we're going to do for this. And this is more stuff we're going to have to cram into the end battle screen. So there should be a timer. Where did I write this down? Delay. Yeah, auto battle. Be a button hovering with something like cancel auto battle, and when clicked it should disappear. Yeah, this is going to be for the afternoon. Add a checkbox to the UI. When checked, it will automatically kick off a timer. Show the progress of the timer in the UI. When the timer hits 0, repeat the current battle if possible. It's possible that you used an adventurer elsewhere, in which case the battle won't start. So turn off auto battle. And then reset the timer when a battle completes. And automatically start it if auto battling was enabled. And then the final thing is show a button over the ongoing battle. Over the ongoing battle. When clicked, it should disappear. And only allow for enabling auto battles after $500 of lifetime sales. Did I draw them? No, it's an asset package combined with Quickie Joe doing some of the fill-in stuff. So for example, the new adventurers, so the rogue, the bat, actually it's not an adventurer, the skeleton, all this stuff, this is from Quickie Joe. So he's already done a pretty good amount of artwork. This is not that stuff that was already there. But yeah, like the mage character, the warrior, these are custom. This is the cleric. I guess here's all of them. So I don't need to keep going to individual spreadsheets. And it's based on the asset pack, but yeah, these aren't in the asset pack. And I like them. They're very distinct. I think they represent the class correctly, or well, not correctly. But yeah, warrior, mage, rogue, and cleric. These items are from a different asset pack, and they fit well enough. I feel like item graphics aren't maybe as hard to do. Yeah. So when you have a full storeroom and you grant a bunch of items, yeah, looks good. We should probably have animations or something for some of these. Like the fire sword should probably just have sparks coming off of it. I wonder if we should name customers for checkpoint number 2. I don't know. It'll be really cool when you have auto battling. Because yeah, these battles would finish and then you would just go right back into them. I'm so pleased with everything that's been happening so far, though. This is all great. Yeah, thanks for puffing. Now, for those who didn't hear, next week is going to be the start of music production in the game. So the stream is going to change from development to just music creation. And I imagine it's probably going to drive people crazy because you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over and over. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I think everyone who considers himself a creative person and creates things looks at their creations and they see a lot of flaws and like, here's what I can do better. I hear this from other people I talk to. Like, I'll watch a video someone made and they'll be like, did you see all the editing mistakes? And I'm like, no. So, and that's something that I learned a while ago too. Like, I have played piano for a long time, and when I perform for people like a well-known classical piece, I will hear the mistakes and I'll tell them like, oh yeah, sorry, I made a bunch of mistakes. And then they're like, what are you talking about? So I think unless you have an eye or an ear for some of these things, you don't typically care too much. With a game, it's different. Like, some of the things that I notice are customers just disappear when they run out of money. And I don't know, all the other problems that we talked about. This portal looks out of place. It's not animated. We'll get to a lot of that stuff. Checkpoint 2 does not represent that, hey, the game is complete or anything. It's not even beta yet. It's just an early alpha. So yeah, auto battling will be this afternoon. And then if we have any extra time, which we probably will. I don't think auto battling should take that long. We'll just start addressing other feedback. Auto battling and addressing feedback. Library for education, like you can make more efficient storage, like a barrel. I was thinking anything that involves upgrades will probably be done through quests. And then where exactly you get the quest, yeah, sure, it could be a library or something, although we'll probably use a building you already have. But yeah, lower prices in the store, those sorts of things, those are all going to come from the player-wide skills that you get. So you'll be able to change these at will. And this is, I don't know, I don't see other games usually do something like this, where if you do have points, you can just put them in or out of a skill at will. And like, we have to make sure this works. So for example, you can speed up all your adventurers. You see this thing zipping around, and then when you right click the skill, it just gets slower and slower. So I think it's nice to have that. So yeah, we could have something like, yeah, your items are worth more, or there are more customers or something. Don't want to use Next.js as your backend. I mean, do you want to write it yourself, or do you want to have something mostly off the shelf? Actually, I can't really stick around and talk about this. I should really go get lunch. Yeah, it's 12:13 or 12:18. Well, thank you all for watching. I'll be back in about an hour, and we'll continue for another maybe 2.5 hours. I'm not sure because I went a little long today. And yeah, we'll just keep making progress. Remember, Friday's the day. If you play, please give feedback. So this is the important thing. If you don't play, that's totally fine. If you play and you have bad feedback, that's also totally fine. I don't mind if you don't like the game or something, but I would really not want you to play and not leave feedback. So this is the one thing you should keep in mind, and I try to make it as easy as possible in the game. You just press escape, and then you click provide feedback, and it opens up the form, and you can just fill it out. And I just added this question, which I think is pretty important. Did you play the first checkpoint? Because that might impact people. But I'm going to get going, like I said, another hour or so. Hopefully see you again. If not, take care. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everybody.